They go hand in hand when it comes to grappling. I think wrestling is perfect for control and just dominating overall in MMA, but you need jiu-jitsu to learn how to get out of certain things too. It's like you don't see UFC fighters walking in like looking like C-bum. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
They do that because they think I sound like a chipmunk. I don't hear it personally. Did you know that?
Is that how you got your name?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. Make sure they know we're not talking to a 12-year-old here.
No.
And I saw this little kid doing side laterals.
I was trying to do chest flies.
What? 10-pound weights, and he's flinging them up like this, like going like this in the air. Dude, and I'm thinking, does this guy need help? You started fights?
Oh, dude, I got in a lot of fights. I got suspended like 3 times. It's like I had to explain, because guard is when you put your legs around someone. I explained to someone that I wasn't trying to do anything gay with them.
Well, here we go. This is a great start. It was made to help the little guys like be able to take a fight against bigger guys, because bigger guys are always going to be able to like throw you down and just tear you apart like that.
That's why I learned Wing Chun. Wing Chun is the same thing.
Oh yeah,
it's designed for smaller guys to take out bigger guys. It's very efficient.
And we didn't have like a certain schedule or anything. We were just going in like, oh, we're gonna hit the bench and start like benching stuff, and like, oh, we're gonna do some curls, doing like really crappy curls, like just fully extending our arms out, throwing our back into it, like just basic like newbie stuff. I hated waking up, dude.
And,
for real.
And you just covered one of the things I was gonna cover today. Your intensity was way too high.
Like I hated it back then. And I still hate it now, but like then I was chunky, couldn't move, couldn't even run a mile.
I remember when you started training with us, you trained with us consistently for about a year.
Oh,
your
yeah.
shoulders were popping. I mean, you were a lot bigger than you are now.
Oh yeah.
No offense, I'm just bringing it up.
No, that's okay.
Because it's important to bring up here.
I took everything off. I was just straight up bodybuilding because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get some chicks, I'm gonna get really hot, I'm gonna do whatever I want.
And I think people think of like, oh, why would you give up those gains? It's like, well, if you enjoyed the fighting more than the gains, background in bodybuilding, because believe it or not, he has made a lot of progress.
Oh yeah, I gained 40 pounds.
You started with us at 100.
Yeah, he built like a girl when he started, dude.
Basically, yeah.
Because I thought I was gonna get jacked looking
Don't
like.
forget bench.
I didn't bench.
You didn't?
No, my numbers were too low. I didn't want to embarrass myself.
You don't train like that all the time, but occasionally it's fun to take the leash off. I call that take the leash off training each other. It's that same competition aspect I think these guys have fallen in love with when fighting. You can take that to bodybuilding as well.
So before I say what my diet is,
That's how you know it's about to go bad, dude.
I was maintaining. But then when I just let go, I just started eating as much protein as I could and as many calories as I could. Start gaining more weight, my numbers were going up real fast. So I work at DQ, right?
I just sent you that picture of fat me.
Oh nah. I'm better looking than that. Obviously I'll eat probably 6 eggs a day too.
For hard gainers, I'm myself as a hard gainer. When I go into a gaining phase, I have to eat about 4,000 calories to gain.
Oh yeah.
I tell most people, 80-20 for most people. But for a hard gainer, I think you can go down to 60-40, more push-ups. So when I saw you were struggling with push-ups, I was like, we're going to fix this. And it's important to know the person's personality. Like, I know I can destroy Chip. He's not going to be like, oh, you hurt my feelings.
The people that when I lifted with this uncle, he counted the the warm-up sets.
See, warm-up sets are called junk volumes, reward type of situation there. So, I mean, if you like them, keep doing them, but I'm just not a huge fan of them. I'd rather be under the barbell and squatting heavy.
When I was in high school, dude, I promise you, if you were to ask anybody I graduated with, they would never tell you that I would have been in a combat sport. And I like this over lifting because a lot of times you see lifting dudes, they get their egos popped up. I yell at all the time when I'm grappling people. They're like, you're not aggressive enough. And I'm like, I know, I don't like to hurt him. Sat there and I could feel it. Like, you can tell when a dude's on steroids too.
Natural lifter will have a switch they can flip on that will give them, that adrenaline, that rush, that will give them that extra strength. When you're taking steroids, picture that 10 times.
No, I'm trying not to focus too much on strength, but I want to keep my muscles healthy at the same time, because that's what honestly weightlifting does. It keeps my muscles healthy too. I feel like when I grapple, if I lift right before, dude, I feel like my grappling is way better.
Body slam in some cases.
Yeah, my one rule though is I'm not doing legs right before leg day.
Because
risk reward's not worth it.
right, because the thing is, running is terrible on your joints.
And I look not as jacked as I was at 170. So it's like
You look like a Teletubby.
anytime I don't drink water, like enough water and stuff, like while training, like I feel like I'm gonna die.
Because a bodybuilder is kind of the opposite. A lot of times, bodybuilders, we drink too much. And that's why most people can't get pumps at the gym.
Yeah.
It's because they're flushing all their electrolytes out. So, for example, are you counting this as part of your gallon right here? This energy drink?
No, I
You
don't.
should be. Being a athlete the way you guys are, you guys should be supplementing with sodium. Those secondary ones, but the main performance ones, H2O and sodium. And if they're out of whack, you're going to feel like crap. A healthy urine is about a lemonade color.
Yeah.
That is where your body is showing we're good on water, we're good on salt, you're ready to roll. Our body constantly regulates sodium and water throughout the day. And if you start to chug water, your body's going to freak out. If you're thirsty, you will drink. The body will naturally drink. If you're thirsty, you'll naturally gravitate to water. That's what the brain will do because the brain's like, we need more water.
She goes, I'm gonna have to ask you. And I'm like, you really want me to take my clothes off? He told me straight up, he's like, I don't want you cutting weight anymore. If I'm gonna compete and I'm like, oh, I gotta drop 20 pounds, don't do that. That's not right. You shouldn't do it. You'll mess your body up.
I would do is a conjugate style type of training. Conjugate was mainly founded for powerlifting. Louis Simmons was the creator of conjugate style, but you can also form conjugate for any sport as well. And then at the end of that day, you're going to do Tabata sprints. So you're going to do 8 rounds, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off on a recumbent bike. Deadlifts are important for more so than performance than bodybuilding. I'm more bodybuilder. We don't deadlift, but for performance, I would deadlift. Sleeping temp below 70 degrees, ideally 65 to 68 degrees a night.
I keep mine 67.
You don't have to necessarily get 8 hours of sleep. It's more about quality than quantity. There is a benefit to having a little bit of fructose, up 4 to 8 ounces of orange juice a little bit before a meal, because it can actually help you digest. It actually primes the liver for better digestion. Yes, vinegar is amazing for your gut health. Anytime you're doing performance, sugar is important. So when we used to powerlift, we used to snack on Twizzlers between our sets. But we're talking more like performance based. If you're just doing bodybuilding and listening to this, you don't need the extra sugars. When you lift heavy, you produce muscle density. People think that it's size. No, it's density.
But I'm using that all the time for jujitsu. And then when I tried your ab workout, it just killed me.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck?
Is there first of all, is there a way to prevent burnout? Because you're taking
You will always get burnout. I'm gonna just say it right now. You will always get burnout.
Like, I promise you, if you keep on that and like keep God in your life and like keep putting him first before everything, like your life will change straight up.
What is happening, guys? My name is Shawn, host of One Warrior. I just wanted to apologize for the sound quality on this episode you're about to watch. The sound quality does get better as we go through this episode, as I turn off Chip's mic about a quarter way through, and then we are able to hear each other a little bit better. But I just wanted to come on here and apologize for this. We are in the process of getting sound panels, and this podcast will be better in time. Enjoy the episode, guys. It was a blast. What is happening, guys? Welcome to One Warrior season 2. With my guest today, I have here Chip and Garret. Now, your name is Ethan Carter, and your name is Garret Carter.
It's Garret, yeah, it's Garret.
They're brothers, and they're the Carter brothers that I mentioned a few episodes back that we were going to be talking with. Today, we're going to be discussing everything balancing performance with bodybuilding, because it's a common problem I think a lot of people fall into. They want to be jacked, I'd say.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But they also fall into the thing of they want to be able to perform. These guys are athletes at first, I'd say, before bodybuilders.
Yes.
And I'm the opposite. I'm more bodybuilder than athlete. So it's going to be an interesting conversation to go talk about this. And that's why I brought the round table out. You see the logo is behind me today for a change, but this is more like a roundtable discussion.
Rip each other's throats out with these questions.
Yeah, right. Now,
yeah, we're here to go at each other.
Right,
oh, wait,
now,
I got to get
You're
close.
good. You're good.
I got you.
Yeah, you're good. If I knock these mics over. But like I said, we're going to start out with an introduction so the listeners can get to know you.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Garret, we'll start over with you since you're older.
Yeah, so my name is Garret Carter, obviously. He's noted that. But I work in like a little factory. I've been training on and off with Shawn for a long time, probably for a couple of years, I'd say. Isn't it? Would you say a couple of years, maybe year and a half, probably? Not consistently, but I've definitely been training for a while.
I mean, I think you trained with me before, Garret.
Like a month before.
I'll get to how I met Chip, which is a funny story.
Okay.
But I think I was training with you back in 2018.
It's been a long time. Yeah,
I think.
It is a long time ago. Yeah,
But it's been on and off though.
yeah. Well, I went lifting consistently. Like I lifted consistently for probably a year and a half, like hardcore. And that was when we were trying to get like high numbers in our like lifting and stuff like that. Like it's like me, Caleb, Dawson, and like you had Caleb and Dawson on your podcast like, last year. That was cool. But I listened to that whole thing, by the way. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. I always trained like some sort of combat sport like since I was 7 years old. Same with Chip over here. He's been in it for however long. And like I've always had like a knack for like I wanted to learn how to fight, and I love the sport. Even though like I was never like I never got into wrestling though in high school, so that was kind of a weird turnout for me. But like stand up combat sports was always my thing, and then recently, so like I started doing lifting, and then that's how I met you. Like a couple years back, we started lifting for a while, and then I started taking classes in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because I was watching UFC and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. I like the grappling aspect. And like, we saw a place here in Bryan, or like here in like Bryan, Ohio. And we're like, oh, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they have a place here. And like, you don't ever see that around here. So I was like, I'm going to go check this place out. And I went with my uncle, who was he's jacked too. Like he's a very muscular dude. And like my cousin, who also lifted weights alongside with him. And like, we went in for the first class, and like they just like sent us through, like put us through the ropes and everything, showed us everything around, and I was like, this is awesome. And my uncle, he was getting thrown around and like, you know, messed up with like the whole time, and like he got so winded, dude. He went outside, he like ran out of the building because he thought he was gonna throw up on his very first time ever grappling with people. And like my cousin was doing good, and then like we did that one class and then never showed up again. And like 6 months later, like I continued lifting for like that whole 6 month period. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go up there and I'm going to try like just one more class. And I brought my dad with me to go. And we wanted to try it out because I trusted my dad, because my dad used to fight professionally when he was younger. So like, I was like, why not? He has a good, you know, perspective on fighting and stuff. So we brought him up. And I brought Ethan and McKenna with me because we grew up like in a martial art family for like ever. So like we show up, and my coach Ben, he's a big, like he's jacked, and he doesn't even lift weights. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy.
He does.
Yeah, but not like as much as he does. You know, it's not as much as Shawn here.
Yeah, that's true.
But like he's like just built, and you can like the second I saw him, dude, it scared me. I literally sat there and I was like, what the heck? Like this he weighed like 260 pounds and just muscle.
He's not on roids either.
He never took steroids, and he's just naturally built big. So we came in and we started going, like he was showing us stuff, and like my dad looked at me and he's like, yeah, you guys got to start coming up here. And he's like, we're gonna start paying, like getting you lessons and stuff. And like for like the last, I think, 2 years, it'd be about almost 2 years. It's about a year and a half for me now that I've been going there consistently and competing. And I started taking kickboxing and stuff because I was looking at getting into cage fighting and stuff. So I want to get into cage fighting here in like the next couple of years, but that's farther down the line. But right now I'm looking at taking a kickboxing fight. So I've been going up training other places for like kickboxing and stuff too. For like the last year I've been doing that. So I've been kind of like going back and forth in between that. So that'd be for me.
So that's okay. So your history, like, what made you want to get into fighting? Why fighting?
I don't.
Did you get into a lot of fights when you were a kid?
Oh yeah, I did. Me and Ethan both have
actual fights.
Yeah, me and Ethan had like a really bad history. That I never got in any fights in high school though. Like that's one thing. I never got into any fights in high school. I was pretty clean through that. But like elementary school, when I was younger, dude, I would get in fights all the time. When I went to like another school outside of where I graduated from, And we ended up moving in like the 6th grade because the school, like, we just didn't like it because they were just bad to our family for like whatever reason. And there's the wrestling coach at Bryan now. He remembered me because he was the old principal at the school I used to go to, and he was the elementary school principal. And he came up to me, and he remembered me because I used to get in so many fights, and I'd get pulled in his office all the time, and he'd just sit there, and I would never fight people unless it was necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a kid who would bully me all the time, and I got mad at him because I was, I've been training since I was 7 years old. So like, my dad literally taught me how to like fight. And so the kid made me mad and like was shoving me around. So I tripped him and I smacked him into the ground and like drug him out to the toilet. And I grabbed his head and I shoved his head in the toilet. And I was like, you keep messing with me, I'm going to shove your head in the toilet. And then I got pulled out by the teachers. And then they pulled me in the office, and my family was planning on going to a trip to Kalahari that day. And like it was the last day of school until I went to that like week off for a Kalahari. And they called my dad in and he's like, am I going to have to cancel a trip to Kalahari because my son just got to a fight? And he goes, no. Here's the story. It actually wasn't his fault. This kid's known for being a bully. He just put him in his place. So we're not putting him in any trouble. It's just, we're just letting you know it happened. And my dad came up and like gave me a high five, and we just like went off and went home.
So your fighting has been your history.
Yeah, it's been a part of my life for a very long time. I love it, but I'm definitely not as skilled as I should be for how long I've been doing it, because we took like a long break, dude. Mm-hmm. Like it honestly depreciated my skill level a lot, because like I was a little chubby kid like too. Like
you chubby?
Yeah, you didn't know about
super
that?
chubby.
I've never seen pictures. No, I
got a picture here. I'll show you.
If you send them to me, and they'll be right here.
Oh, yeah, I'll send it to you. But I'll send it to you actually after the podcast. It'll blow your mind.
I'll put them right here.
Yeah, it'll blow your mind. I promise you. You'll look at it and be like, this kid? No, yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious.
But I used to be like a little chubby kid, and I hated running and stuff. So like, I never liked cardio. Same with like weightlifting, dude. I always hated doing stuff that made me physically work my body. So anything that like tired me out, I was like, no, I'm gonna go home, play some Call of Duty Zombies, and I'm gonna hang out with the boys and just play video games till like 3 a.m. That's what I used to do. Like, I think all the time. That was like middle school and high school, dude. That's all I used to do. And then like, out of nowhere, I hit like this random growth spurt and got super skinny, and I was like, oh, working out's not that bad. And then I started going, and that's when I got Caleb to go with me and stuff too. So
you've got other people to fighting now too.
Caleb doesn't fight, but it's all right. I got my cousin, the one that came to Jujitsu with us the one time. He starts coming up kickboxing and stuff with us now, and he's doing pretty well. I mean, you can tell he was an athlete. He used to be a basketball player. He's a really good basketball player for our high school. He's like, dude scored like 40 points in a game.
Holy.
Just one game. And
wow.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. And like, he started coming up kickboxing and stuff, and he's an athlete, like just straight up. So he has that like drive to keep wanting to learn. But the thing is with him is he's just got to learn the techniques better than just try to push forward and like hurt somebody. Because some people do that like a lot when they get into sports like that. Like, you see people all the time, they'll walk in, like the athletes, especially like football players or wrestlers, you know what I mean? Like, you'll see them walk into like a jiu-jitsu place, and like they're thinking, I'm just going to throw them around and like choke them out. Like, if you're a good wrestler, like, yeah, like you'll mess some like new guys up, but like you'll run into like these blue belts or purple belts and stuff, dude. And they look like let's say I had a buddy, so he's like 200 pounds muscular, dude. He's a wrestler, like state wrestler for our school.
Dylan.
Yeah. You know Dylan. But he came in, and I was trash talking him at the gym because he was working out, and he was asking me, he's like, dude, we got to wrestle around. I was like, you got to come to our jiu-jitsu place in Defiance. And he's like, I guarantee you I could beat every person up there. And I was like, I bet you there's a 140-pound dude that could beat you in the span of 2 minutes. And he goes, no way. So he shows up, and I was talking about one of our guys up there, like our black belts. And this dude is like, for grappling industries, which is one of the top like tournaments like in America for like just like regular state grappling and stuff like that. He was #1 in the world for brown belts. Like, dude was ranked #1 in the world for it. And he comes in, and this dude weighs like, I think he weighs 145, 130. So he comes in, and Dylan tries tearing him apart. And I'm literally sitting there, and the dude's literally crawling around like Dylan's whole body as Dylan's trying to hold him down. And like, he couldn't do anything against it. He's using his strength against him and looking at me and having a full-blown conversation while he's doing it. I'm just talking to the guy, and he's looking at me, and he's like, he's a strong boy, and he's keeping his hands up to him like this and like crawling around him, like moving his arms in places they're not supposed to move. And he tapped him out like 4 different times. But it was crazy, dude.
So why Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Out of all the martial arts that you could pick, why Jiu-Jitsu?
So, in my opinion, like it's not the greatest form of grappling. I think it is in a way. So there's two. I think wrestling and Jiu-Jitsu are like, they go hand in hand when it comes to grappling. I think wrestling is perfect for control and just dominating overall in MMA. But you need Jiu-Jitsu to learn how to get out of certain things. Because Jiu-Jitsu teaches you how to move your body in certain ways that you're not used to. And it allows you to manipulate other people into doing things that they don't want you to get to. Like when it comes to like throwing people in like an arm bar or something like that, your arm's not meant to move back like this. And like, it doesn't matter how strong you are, dude. Your arm's extended out like this, and you got both arms in one. And all they're doing is they're just inching their body up, and they can snap your arm in half, dude. Like, you talk to any UFC fighter, dude, and they'll tell you like straight up, like, oh yeah, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the way to go. Like, not over wrestling. You need wrestling too, but like, there's forms of like martial arts that like is a go-to for like MMA. And Jiu-Jitsu, in my opinion, and wrestling combined. If you combine those both, dude, like it makes a perfect fighter, like overall. And I think weightlifting and stuff like that helps out a lot too. Obviously, I don't disagree with that. I think a lot of the times you gotta put 2 and 2 in hand with that. So.
And that's what we'll be talking about today, how to combine those two. Because there's an optimal way of doing it, and then there's a bullshit way of doing it.
Yeah.
And that's going to basically lead to how successful you are on one side of the table or the other. Now, there will be sacrifices made, whether if you're trying to do performance or bodybuilding, you're never going to have the best of both worlds. It's impossible. Right.
What I like to say, like what I like to note too, is like you don't see UFC fighters walking in like, ooh, like looking like C-bum. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
There's not a single UFC fighter.
Sean O'Malley, who's like a stick figure.
Yeah. You got some twigs in there that walk in and tear people up. They still do they still do weightlifting, but they're doing it like to help them. Mm-hmm. So
right. All right, that was a good introduction. All right, Chip.
Yeah.
Time for your turn. And first, comment too. What's going on with the hair?
Yeah. Get his hair. Yeah.
I haven't seen you for a while, and you walked into my house today, and I had to comment the hair.
Hey, okay. So my name is Ethan Carter. They call me Chip a lot. They do that because they think I sound like a chipmunk. I don't hear it personally. Did you know that?
Is that how you got your name?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we gave him that nickname when he was like 5 years old, dude.
Oh my! Wow, and it's stuck around this long.
Dude, you should have. If you would have,
gosh.
If you would have heard what his voice sounded like he was 5, dude, it was so bad.
It was like squeaky, like very bad. I sound like a little girl.
It was bad.
But
so how old are you, Chip?
I'm 16.
Okay, make sure they know we're not talking to a 12-year-old here.
No.
Yeah.
I would say I started lifting with Shawn maybe like 2 years ago.
I don't know about that. 2019, I think. So real quick, the story of how I met Chip.
Oh gosh.
I was in for a regular workout, and I saw this little kid doing side laterals.
I was trying to do chest flies.
Wait, what? No, you were not. You were not.
I don't think so,
you were standing up, though. You were standing up.
I don't know what I was doing. I just saw it on. So
I see this little kid across the gym, and he's got these Gymshark shorts on, and this baggy this big what's it called, a sleeveless shirt of some type, and he's got 2 like 5 pound or 10 pound weights. And he's flinging them up like this, like going like this in the air. And I'm thinking, does this guy need help? And It was like I was like, I don't want to offend him, but I want to help him out. So I went over and got to know him, and I gave him some tips, and we kind of became friends after that.
Yeah,
And I took him under my wing, and he trained with us for almost a full year before you started dropping off and disappearing, and just going in and deciding to.
I went dark mode for a while. For a while, it's like grinding out jujitsu. I'm not gonna lie.
And also party mode too. You've been partying a lot.
Yeah, you can't even like.
Which hence the haircut maybe.
A girl was the reason why I got this haircut.
Really?
2 girls actually. They said they liked it. I was like, well, I gotta keep it now.
You should grow it out now.
That's what I'm saying.
You got the middle part going, which I mean that's not a bad style to go with. Going down.
I want to like grow it out, like grow out the back a little bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe get like a nice shaggy look.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
think it would look good.
So tell us about yourself, Chip.
Okay, so I would say I started weightlifting with you like maybe like 2 years ago, something like that. I don't remember fully. And then I started martial arts when I was like 7. I think we started in karate.
You were about 5.
I don't know, dude.
Because
oh wait, yeah, no, you're right.
I was
like
7,
5.
and you're like 4 years younger than me.
Oh wait, yeah, you're right. You're right. But we started in karate, taekwondo, and then we did a little bit of grappling. It wasn't a lot of grappling. It was just like a self-defense type grappling. Because it was an MMA gym, but they were also teaching karate to like younger kids and stuff. But the way that I would say karate kind of changed my life a little bit, like, well, I got into a lot of fights at school because of it. Like, yeah, no, I never told you about any of these.
You started fights?
Oh, dude, I got in a lot of fights. I got suspended like 3 times.
This dude does have a record.
Now, I would think maybe you were bullied, maybe.
No, I wasn't a bully.
No, you were bullied, I was saying.
Oh, yeah, no, I was bullied.
Oh, you were bullied, okay.
Not anymore.
He was, no, yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah, no, my parents knew him to like beat up his bullies.
Is that what motivated you to get into martial arts? Because you were getting bullied?
Dude. Yeah, I felt that adrenaline rush and that nice, like, good feeling you get when you beat the crap out of someone that's like double your size. Like, I think it was a year ago. No, it was this past school year. Some kid tried pushing me in, I think it was personal finance class. They have cameras everywhere. I don't know how someone didn't see it. So I just took him and I got him in a standing guillotine. And I dropped my guard. And I was like, I had to explain, because guard is when you put your legs around someone. I had to explain to someone that I wasn't trying to do anything gay with them.
Well, here we go. This is a great start. Here we go.
I was like
great start,
choking
guys.
the kid out, and they're like, yo, why is he wrapping his legs around that kid right now? And I was like, dude, this is not what it looks like. And the kid would tap, and I was like, oh, that did not go in my favor. That's probably the last fight I got into, but I haven't gotten a fight ever since then.
Do you think there's a disadvantage of, the fact that jiu-jitsu and these grappling sports are on the ground?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. They're
because the martial arts that I know, they are, you get in a street fight, you're going to handle it not on the ground.
Yeah,
That's what I'm familiar with. So for me, it's like, what if you can't get them to the ground? What do you do?
So the way jiu-jitsu is formed, it's literally based on the little guy. I'm not even kidding. It was made to help the little guys, like, be able to take a fight against bigger guys, because bigger guys are always going to be able to like throw you down and just tear you apart. So jiu-jitsu is supposed to help. It's supposed to help aid you if you get stuck on the ground like that.
That's why I learned Wing Chun. Wing Chun is the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's designed for smaller guys to take out bigger guys. It's very efficient.
It's because you're using their force against them. Like, you're trying to use it to like manipulate them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand it completely. It's just like, that's why I say I like wrestling too, because it's great for that control. Like, if there's a big guy, he doesn't know how to wrestle, but a guy who knows how to wrestle in jiu-jitsu. Like, if I were to put money on it, I'd put my money on a guy who knows wrestling and jiu-jitsu, because they're just
definitely
they'll know ways to take them and move their body to where they won't be able to move. I got a buddy he actually just got his brown belt today in jiu-jitsu, but he's an extraordinary grappler. He competed at the Arnold Classic this year, and he got gold medals, 2 of them, just casually. And he's just facing these guys, and like, he's super quick, and like, I've watched him like go against these guys that are like twice his size, and he makes them look like they're smaller than him, just because he knows how to wrestle and he knows how to keep that control. It's crazy.
Are there skills that you can get used to? I mean, like I said, you start a fight, you're standing up. Yeah. Let's just say let's say a street fight. You get into a street fight.
Oh yeah.
You're standing up. Is there skills that you know to get somebody on the ground so then you can take advantage and jiu-jitsu matters?
Yes, we have. So like they like to take underhooks and stuff like that. So if like we train people, like they train people to like keep your distance, you know, like know where your opponent's at, how far they're standing, and if they're gonna move a certain way, you have to know how to react based on their movements. So like if they're throwing their underhand over, like if they're throwing like an overhand at you, you're trying to like throw a punch, you can just like shoot in and like take their arm out and then just toss them, tip them over if you have to. The only problem I have with taking people to the ground in a fight like that, which is why I started learning kickboxing and stuff, is because if it's more than one person attacking you and you take them on the ground, the other guys are just gonna pile on top of you and
you're just gonna
you know what I'm saying?
So bad.
So it's not like I'm not like training just because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna just in case of street fight. I have like an actual passion for the sport. I've loved it forever. I've loved that sport always. Like you see me at the gym, like you always see me sitting there throwing punches at the mirror. You know what I'm saying? Like I know you remember that because I got made fun of all the time for it, and now like
as you should have been. You look stupid.
That's all good. I don't care. I still love the sport, and like so I started taking kickboxing and stuff like that. And like the guy that I'm training under, his dad was a world champion in 1880 or 1981. Like his dad was an extraordinary fighter, like Olympic qualifier, all this. Like he has a championship belt that like he had to prove it. But I started training in that just because I'm like my wrestling isn't good enough yet. So I'm still like grinding to keep that up. But like I also want to learn how to stand up because that's what I've been doing all my life pretty much too. So I'm kind of trying to balance it all out between 3 different like types.
Right. Okay. So Chip, what got you into jiu-jitsu then? Like you were good, you liked fighting and everything. What made you go that route as well? Is it just because your brother?
Well, I've wanted to do jiu-jitsu for a while. And every single time I'd be passing through the square, I'd see that building. I'm like, dude, I so badly want to go in there. Mainly because like back when I was like had a huge craving for it, now I have a huge craving for like MMA and stuff. But I would look at that, I'd be like, dude, I want to go in there and choke some people out. Because I was a smaller dude back then. I was like 5'3" maybe. When I first met you, that's around the time I started jiu-jitsu.
I believe it. You've actually grown quite a bit since we've met each other.
Yeah.
You've gotten taller, I know.
I know. I'm like actually average height now.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of myself.
How tall are you now?
I think like 5'10".
4.
That's not funny.
How tall are you?
6 foot.
No.
No, he's not. I'm 6 foot. No.
Are you taller than me?
I think so.
Okay, you're taller than 5'7" then. So.
Okay, yeah, no. I'm like 5'9", 5'10".
Okay,
So
you've definitely grown because when I first came up to you with the Y, you were down
I
here
was so short.
to my shoulders.
Yeah, I was like a short little dude, so I was like, dude, I want to get into jiu-jitsu. I want to be able to like defend myself and like, you know, just kick ass. Do good.
Okay, now flip the table back to Garrett here for a bit. Explain your history in bodybuilding.
In bodybuilding, okay. Yep. That's a long one. So yeah, shut up. But so I remember when I first started, you know, when I told you I was chubby, you know, I started getting taller and like I hit a growth spurt because I don't know, I guess puberty hit late. So like I come in, I'm getting taller. I'm about 6 foot at this point and I'm losing all that fat is starting to like thin out and like fill out from my whole body. And my uncle who I was telling you about, is like jacked. He's a big dude. But he goes, hey, I want you to start coming to the gym with me and like trying to start getting bigger. Or no, wait. I actually started going with a few of my buddies first because they were talking about weightlifting and I was like, never done it. And he goes, you want to get jacked? And they're like talking like, yeah, you want to get big? We're going to be muscular and doing all this. So I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll come with you guys. And we started getting up at like 5 a.m. and going in like super early and going into the Y. Because my mom used to go in at that time because she was working out all the time. So we started waking up that early and going in like every day. And it was just so happened to be the same time my uncle was going in. So, and we didn't have like a certain schedule or anything. We were just going in like, oh, we're going to hit the bench and start like benching stuff. And like, oh, we're going to do some curls, doing like really crappy curls, like just fully extending our arms out, throwing our back into it, you know, like just, you know, basic like newbie stuff. Right. So we're walking in and my uncle comes up to me because my buddies all took off and I was waiting on my mom because she was still getting her workout done. And he goes, I can see where you guys are making mistakes, but I want you to start coming in and lifting with me because I know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. So like I came in like, and he started making me do all this like just simple weightlifting stuff. Like I didn't have good squatting form, obviously. So he sent me on the squat rack and he's like, I want you to do we're going to do 6 sets and you're going to do 12 reps at least of each of these. And I was only doing like 35 pounds on each side, like plates. And he had me doing it on that Smith machine at the Y, and like, he just had me repping it out for as much as I could. He told me 12 reps. And then we'd do like freaking like 10 sets, dude. My legs would be so dead every day. I went consistently with him for like 3 weeks or something, or not 3 weeks, but like 3 months or something like that. And then I just got tired of waking up early because I hated waking up, dude.
And,
for real.
And you just covered one of the things I was going to cover today. Your intensity was way too high.
Yeah.
Because you weren't recovering. Now at this time, were you also trying to balance fighting?
No. That was right when I was like, I think I was a sophomore in high school when that happened. Cause I was like, I wasn't so I used to be, we were fighting right before that when I was chunky and stuff. And like, I hated running and I messed up my shoulder one of these days. Like I was going up the stairs at school. I was being stupid and I tried to do something stupid. I slipped and I fell right on my arm, dislocated my shoulder. Yeah, so we come into class one of the days and like I had a full freaking cast on. Like I told him, I was like, yeah, I can't train that hard anymore. So like 3 weeks go by and they had me running with my messed up arm.
It was kind of funny.
Yeah,
because you see a dude running with this.
He's
arm
sitting there pushing
like
me, and I like I said, I hate running, dude. Like I hated it back then, and I still hate it now. But like then I was chunky, couldn't move, couldn't even run a mile without like dying, and he's sitting there like following me, the head guy there. He's sitting there shoving me along, going, "You're gonna do this. You're gonna run." And I'm like, like crying, like trying to move. And he goes, "If you're the last one and we catch up to you, you're doing jumping jacks for the whole class." And I had a messed up shoulder, so I'm like, "All right, I gotta run." And I just fell on my face and I couldn't move.
So you had to do jumping jacks for us.
And my dad took off because he was one of the heads for the school that we were going to for a while, because he was one of the main guys helping out. And my dad comes back and he comes into class. He walks into me doing jumping jacks with my messed up shoulder. And he walks up to me and he goes, "We're getting out of here." And you like walked me out and like I never came back because I got hurt. And like my shoulder was like really messed up. And it didn't fully recover for like 2-3 years. So
I brought that up because like I remember when you started training with us, you trained with us consistently for about a year. You made amazing progress. Your shoulders were popping. I mean, you were a lot bigger than you are now.
Oh, yeah.
No offense. I'm just bringing it up.
That's okay.
Because it's important to bring up here. And when you were training like that, were you fighting at the time when you were training with us at all?
No, I took everything off. I was just straight up bodybuilding because I was like, you know what? I'm going to get some chicks. I'm going to get really hot. I'm going to do whatever I want. And I'm like, heck yeah, this is the life. I'm living it.
And drop off.
What made you want to stop bodybuilding?
Because
everybody want to be a bodybuilder.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Everybody wants to look jacked, dude. I was looking cool too. I had a nice 6-pack. I was doing great. I looked jacked for what I was. I had some people that would come in. They would talk to me like that I graduated with from high school, and they're like, "What happened to you?" And
I was amazed with your progress. I mean, every week I was like, "Wow, you're continuing to grow. Your strength was going up." I mean, it was insane.
Yeah. So the only reason why I took off is because I noticed that like, when I started doing jujitsu, I was like, I want to compete more, but like they have weight classes and stuff, and I can't sit here and bulk and get up like super high in like these weight classes because there's always going to be these people that are like the one thing about like competitions and stuff that I hate is you'll have these freaking jerks that'll come in and they're like 200 pounds and they'll cut all their weight down to like 185.
I want to weight on that actually.
And it's messed up, dude. I hate that because like I get it. It evens out. Like it makes it even for some people. But like when you have dudes like me who don't really care about cutting weight or like didn't at the time, and I'm just walking in trying to get weightlifting, like trying to get super strong, and you get these dudes that are like 200 pounds coming into your division, like they were 200 pounds and they cut all that weight and then they drink all this water and gain all that weight back in like 2 seconds. Stupid. So like they'll sit there and throw you around, and I was like, all right, that's it. I'm gonna start training jiu-jitsu full time now. And I was like, slowly, like, I was kind of falling off of my lifting because I was trying to, like, started to dedicate all my time into jiu-jitsu and MMA and stuff.
And I mean, if that's what you enjoyed most at the time, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think people think of like, oh, why would you give up those gains? And it's like, well, if you enjoyed the fighting more than the gains, like for me, it's like I'm the opposite. I'd rather just look like a superhero all the time.
Oh yeah,
it's just it's fun.
That is valid.
It's fun. It's you're healthy. You can do a lot of things. But the other flip side of that, you know, I guarantee you could get me and totally destroy me on the ground. Maybe not above ground, but on the ground, you definitely could. And so there's benefits to different things on what perspective you look at it there. Now, Chip, talk a little bit about your background in bodybuilding, because believe it or not, he has made a lot of progress.
Oh yeah, I gained 40 pounds.
Like, you're still up to that 40 pounds, or have you dropped?
Yeah, I weigh 140 now.
And you started lifting. He weighed 110 when you.
It was 106.
It was under 110.
It was bad.
You started with us at 100.
He was built like a girl when he started, dude.
Basically, yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
So
Not
explain
that
that.
this
So that's actually excellent that you got that. I mean, 40 pounds is a lot of muscle. A lot. Explain your journey.
Okay, so it started with me not knowing what I was doing to me trying to do chest flies or shoulder flies. I don't even remember. But I was lifting at the Y4 with my buddy Jacob, and I was only doing the same 4 exercises, which was lat pull downs, dumbbell press, the one curling machine, and then the one extension machine. Because I thought I was gonna get jacked looking
Don't
like.
forget bench.
I didn't bench.
You didn't?
No, my numbers were too low. I didn't want to embarrass myself. I could barely bench the bar. Do you remember that?
I do. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember one of our first bench sessions.
When we had to help him.
Yes, it was bad.
We had to spot you with the bar. I remember that.
Dude, that was
That was the
funny.
reason why I didn't bench.
Continue.
And then I met you guys, and then you guys invited me to train with you guys. And I had one chest workout with you guys. Dude, I skipped the next workout. I was so dead and tired. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can work out with them today. So that I went back, did back with you guys. Dude, I had the best back pump ever. I felt like I looked like Captain America, like right when he came out of the test tube, which was my dream physique, obviously. But then I learned you can't really have a specific dream physique.
Right.
I wish you could.
You can only be the best version of yourself, is what I tell people.
Despite how cool Captain America looks. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Unless I go on steroids, maybe. But that's besides the point. I'm never going to do that. But
Well,
then I had my arm workout with you guys. And that, I don't know why, but that pain of like when you're trying to curl your arm after arm workout, that was just like satisfying almost. Because I feel like I actually did something with my life.
You would have loved me. And last night I had an interview with Chad. You guys saw that one last week. We trained arms after the interview. And we did a battle. We did a battle between each other doing close grip curls with 70 pounds on the easy bar. And we did. And so I would go, then he would go, and we just kept dropping the bar to each other. And the first one to fail and stopped and would lose. And we got through it where me and him were only doing at the most 5 reps. And then all of a sudden we both just picked it up like, I don't care, I'm going to beat you. And then he was like, I'm beat you. We raised the number then from 5 to 6 to 7, all the way to 12 reps. And we were dead. I mean, we could not, we were like, Chad referenced that it was like we were 2 silverback gorillas just battling it out in the gym. Our arms were just so pumped with blood. It was ridiculous. But I mean,
I bet that was super satisfying.
Oh yeah, it was fun as hell. And like I was telling Chad, you don't train like that all the time, but occasionally it's fun to take the leash off. I call that take the leash off training. It's, it's where you occasionally just battle it out between each other. It's that same competition aspect I think these guys have fallen in love with when fighting. You can take that to bodybuilding as well.
But, and then, shoot, what was that? I was like talking about arms, how satisfying it was to have that burn.
Yep.
And I became like addicted to it. So I started like, at one point I was doing like 2 lifts a day. I would do like back and arms. I'm not sure if you remember that. I always get there like an hour early.
Yeah, for a while, you were trying to train more than us. You were doing stuff before we even got there, and we corrected you real fast on that.
Oh, yeah, no,
we beat you to a pulp in your
I
workouts.
made no progress doing that. It was so terrible. Well, it doesn't help that my metabolism is like through the roof.
Yeah.
So I legit, okay, so before I say what my diet is. You
That's how you know it's about to go bad, dude.
I know.
You're about to get mad. That's what that means.
I seen that I make more progress just trying to eat as much protein and calories I can find. Like when I was just going strictly on balancing my carbs and protein and my calories, like sure it was horrible eating that much, but it just was not working well for me. I was maintaining. But then when I like just let go, I just started eating as much protein as I could and as many calories as I could, start gaining more weight, my numbers were going up real fast. So I work at DQ, right?
I love how it says I work at DQ, right?
I just sent you that picture of fat me.
Okay.
So
I
got
hope
you that.
my managers don't see this, but
Oh my gosh, Garret.
dude, he was fat. It was gross.
You were like Chip. You looked just like Chip, but looked like a fat Chip.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, show me that picture.
Yeah.
Oh nah. I'm better looking than that. That was him like a year. Okay, so that's him when he was my age. I'm better looking, obviously. Anyways, but all the time, the manager's okay with me doing this, but I'm not sure if Mike Poole, the owner of DQ, would be okay with this. But they'll always like send me home with like a huge basket of chicken. So I'll have like over 200 grams of protein of chicken in each basket. And I'll just like mow down on that. Obviously, I'll eat probably like 6 eggs a day too.
Mm-hmm.
I tried drinking it, by the way. That's not
Probably
the way
like
to go.
fake chicken too. This is the worst part.
I don't know. But I made progress doing it though. I was surprised.
That's an important thing to cover here because, like, I'm not mad at Chip. I mean, I agree. When we're hard gainers, I'm myself as a hard gainer. When I go into a gaining phase, I have to eat about 4,000 calories to gain.
Oh yeah.
And eating that the normal bodybuilding style with chicken, rice, broccoli and stuff, it doesn't work because what you're doing is you feel like shit all the time eating all that food.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind eating pizzas and stuff. I mean, I still every Sunday, even when I'm dieting right now, I'm throwing 3,000 calories and I'm dieting. I'm pretty crazy that I'm on
3,000
I know. Not very much consider that. Right, exactly, and that's just the difference there. But even when I'm dieting, I still every Sunday is pizza night. I devour a whole pizza. I do that just to keep my metabolism healthy. I think that's an important thing to do even as you age. But I think it's important when you're using all those foods like that to still get in, quality foods, don't have all, I think it's, I tell most people, 80-20 for most people, but for a hard gainer, I think you can go down to 60-40. I honestly think 60% of your food could be your whole foods and your more 40% could be, if you wanted to throw in some pizza and ice cream and that kind of stuff, the more easy,
just high calorie,
right? High calorie, easy to digest stuff. That stuff is actually very easy to digest, and it's not as hard to eat as say a bunch of spinach and chicken and all extra. But getting your protein though is important.
Oh yeah.
How much protein are you at every day?
Every day. Oh, it has to be above 150.
Okay,
Guaranteed.
good, very
Guaranteed.
good, very good. I was gonna smack you if you said under 100.
Oh no. Legit. Last night I think. No, it wasn't last night. It was the night before. I ate probably like almost a whole dozen eggs.
Uh-huh.
I just woke up and I was like, I'm hungry, man.
Hey, eggs are one of the best things you
Dude,
can do.
they are so good.
Yeah.
I cooked them I put a lot of cheese on it.
Yeah.
It filled up the whole entire pot.
Eggs are fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
I love
tasted
eggs.
So good.
So continue on with your bodybuilding journey.
So after I got the pulp beaten out of me with the workouts, to the point where I couldn't even do a push-up. I remember that chest day specifically. I think we got done with chest press, and then we went to do. You're like, all right, let's do some push-ups. You start doing, I think it was decline push-ups, where your feet are up, and you're like pumping out 12 really easily. I couldn't even get one.
I remember this, and I got mad at you. I was because the reason I got mad at you because I wasn't trying to say like, oh, you should be able to do this. It was because you're a smaller dude. That's what we are good at. We that was always one thing that when I was younger. I was always weaker than a lot of people. But one thing I could always crush people at body weight stuff. I could always do more pull-ups, more push-ups. So when I saw you were struggling with push-ups, I was like, we're going to fix this because that's something you can be better than other people at. No doubt about it. Cause we're smaller. We have less weight to push. We can do more. So
you had me do 100 push-ups a day.
I remember that. I did. I had you do a bunch of push-ups.
That was hilarious, dude. When he wasn't able to do that push-up, we all surrounded him and went after him, dude.
It was. I felt kind of bad after it, but at the same time, I was like, you have to have those times of people pushing down like that.
I can do 50 in a row. So
yeah, exactly. And how many pull-ups?
I can do at least 20, maybe.
We should
Maybe.
put a
On a
disclaimer
good
out there. Don't, if you have a lifting buddy and he can't do a push up, that doesn't mean just start yelling at him. You know what I mean? You gotta.
Yeah, for real.
We gave him tough love because we were related to him
We
or
did.
we're already friends with him. So
exactly. That's a
like,
good point.
If you got somebody who's like who
You guys
gets
also
hurt
know me too,
by feelings,
like, really well. So
like if their feelings get hurt easily, but if they're a small dude, you gotta give them some tough love sometimes.
Yeah,
That's
you
it.
do, and it's important to know the person's personality. Like I know I can destroy Chip, and he's not going to be like, "Oh, you hurt my feelings." He's not. He doesn't get hurt. His feelings hurt like that. So that's why we're like that
His
with
feelings
him.
did get hurt like that. We would just make fun of him. It would get way worse.
I think that helped too because you guys, grew up kind of together. You guys were just destroyed each other as you aged, and
Oh, yeah.
I think that
dude,
kind
I
of
was the
ingrained
family
it.
punching bag.
See, that's point
Which
proven
is
right
something
there.
that jujitsu did help with. Because
Yeah.
one time my cousin went to punch him, and I did something called a dummy sweep. It's for dummies.
Uh-huh.
Because he
Call
went
it a
at
dummy sweep, but
yeah, he went at me. I just dropped to the ground, which is why jujitsu is always effective in a street fight. I dropped to the ground. I just tripped him.
He tripped him and then took over and like started pounding him and they stopped the fight because dude, it was funny because our cousin at the time was like, he's 24 years old, dude. Chip was 15. You're beating up a 24-year-old. That was
so proud of
crazy.
myself.
Yeah.
I felt so good. I was like, all these years, boom.
I think one of the listeners too would need to know, we talked a little bit about diet, how you gain 40 pounds. What was your training like consistently to get to 40 pounds heavier? Because you made a lot of progress.
I made a lot of progress, and I stopped. I went like just completely off the grid at the gym. Stopped going
Right.
and just started grinding out jiu-jitsu and MMA.
Let's talk about when you were grinding out the gym though first.
gym?
Yeah.
So I worked out with you. So I probably worked out for like 2.5 hours a day. You guys work out for a long time.
That's right around 2 hours a day.
That's dude. The people
We don't count our build-up sets. We don't count
Yeah,
that. That's the
I
warm-up.
got-
That's
yeah.
just getting our mind right.
That's
the
the
workout
difference.
starts once we run our numbers for the day and what we need to know, what we got to hit. That's when the workout starts. So it's right about 2 hours.
that does make sense because the people that I like when I lifted with this uncle, he counted the working set, the warm-up sets.
See,
So
warm-up
working
sets
with
are
you-
called junk volume. Junk volume is pointless. It's basically just getting your muscles warm. That's not the stuff that's going to make you grow. So why count it? Why count
Yeah,
something
it's
that's just
giving you a pump.
and getting you warmed up, your mind
Mm-hmm.
ready for the workout? The actual main meat of the workout is going to make stimulation to make you grow.
The working sets. yeah.
Exactly.
Which is why it makes me so mad when I see people walking in there for 45 minutes and just walking out because you cannot.
No.
I don't care what you say. You cannot get a full workout.
It takes
in
us 30
45
minutes to build up to our heavy set for the day, usually, right around 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then by about 45 minutes in, we're usually starting our heavy sets. And half hour after that, we start our hypertrophy training till about 45 more minutes. So that's about 2 hours.
See, it would be about 2 hours if we didn't have when we were lifting, all of us, we had like 8.
Oh yeah, we had. I remember that.
You remember that?
It was
Yeah.
me, you, Josh, Dawson.
Yeah.
Dawson would sometimes lift with us.
Yeah.
I mean, the only days
Caleb,
that
Garret,
the only days that went rolled longer than longer than
three.
2 hours was leg day.
Yeah, dude,
that was
leg-
mainly
Dude, that was the
Killer.
worst day. There's the reason why I skipped that on my first day. I was so scared. That
I
one
remember
just
that
looked
because
killed
when he
me.
came back, dude, we freaking tore him apart.
Dude, I couldn't walk.
Yeah,
It
well,
was so bad.
we had to teach you even how to walk out the squat rack with a bar instead of
Oh,
looking
yeah,
like
no.
you. I wish I had a video of him walking out of the squat rack. I might have one on my phone.
You
I'd have to
legit
look back.
took it off my
If
back.
I have the video, I will put it here. But I don't know if I have
I
it.
think you legit took the bar from me and you're like, that's it. You legit said, that's it. You're going off the side and doing 100 squats.
Yeah, I
was like,
did. I had.
Dude.
You had to earn the bar.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was bad. At one point, like after the squats, I felt so good. I was like, okay, I'm ready to do this. You're like, nope, Bulgarian squats now. I was like, dude.
Goblet
joking
squats.
right now. Yeah,
Goblets.
goblet
Yep,
squats is
goblets.
what it
I'm not a
was.
huge fan of Bulgarians, to be honest, but yeah.
Why not? I don't know. Wait, is that the ones where you're?
The reason why is for me, I've ripped my groin before, and that's
Oh,
a terrible injury.
ugh.
That's a terrible injury. And the reason I did that was I was doing just lunges. So I
okay.
weighted lunges. So I don't like to do anything like that unless it's just body weight. So because when you rip your groin, that actually goes all the way down your knee. It hurts bad. It's a bad injury.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that was back in 2011, I think it was. That was one of my first actual big injuries I ever had. So I like to avoid leg exercises where you're in the splits type of area to train in that. I think that's just kind of a bad idea to think. When you think about it, I mean, people say, "Oh, lunges, Bulgarians, they're all the rage." But think about it. When you're stretching a muscle and then trying to work that muscle under the stretched position, there's a big chance for an injury there when you think about it. And it's like a risk, like cramps too, and a risk reward type of situation there. So, I mean, if you like them, keep doing them, but I'm just not a huge fan of them. I'd rather be under the barbell and squatting heavy.
Because I've only like done lunges with you once.
Yeah.
That was when Reed came, never came back.
Reed?
Yeah.
He still trains with us.
He still trains?
Yeah.
No, not that Reed.
Oh.
My buddy Reed.
His buddy.
Oh,
Reed.
God.
The curly haired one?
Yeah,
the one that was
he
doing my weight, but he was like
yeah.
triple my size?
Yeah, he disappeared. He didn't. He didn't last very
Well,
long.
it was his fault for
so-
joining on leg day.
He'll message me every once in a while now, and he's like, "Hey, maybe I might come out to the gym again." I was like, "If you come out to the gym, dude, I will work out with you on the days that I'm able to come up."
That's good.
So,
yeah,
I will help you with whatever you need, bro.
Right.
But he's never messaged.
I think it's important when we take new people under our wing too to not make it so they don't want to come back.
Yeah.
It's so nice because then you have to know that they actually want it. They want to be trained.
That, but I'm also saying don't destroy them so bad that they don't want to come back. Like I knew the limits I could put Chip through. I could basically crush him and kill him and he'd still come back. Because I knew his personality, but not everybody's like Chip. Not everybody would be like that. If somebody, and that's why a lot of people don't train with us because they try our workouts and they don't hear from us. I mean,
2 or 3 different people I'm thinking of right now that did that.
Me too. I know some people that I thought were going to actually stick with me and Josh and Chad, and we don't hear from them anymore. And it's like, that's weird.
So I stuck out for a while. I just changed interest. That was pretty much all that happened.
Right.
Because I still have like major respect for all you guys. Like straight up. Anytime I come back, I'm always coming back to see you guys just because I like seeing you guys. You guys are all cool people. So it's like,
right.
I just kind of changed up like what I wanted. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like instead of like wanting to be huge, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna beat some people up instead. And take joy in it.
So
that is what got me into it. It's fun.
So let's jump into the meat and potatoes of this episode. It's what I'm really excited about, and that's the actually discussing the balance between bodybuilding and performance. So there's 3 things you need to keep in mind when you're doing a bodybuilding type of style training and performance at the same time. There's 3 things are balance of intensity. You need to make sure you're able to recover for both. You need to be able to recover to build muscle, but you also need to not push yourself so hard in the gym that you're going to wear yourself out for your actual competition.
Yeah.
So you need to have that balance. The next one is nutrition and electrolytes. Your nutrition has to be up there. You have to be taking in quite a bit of food. You cannot do those 2 things, those 2 sports on 1800 calories. Even if you're dieting, you
No,
can't.
dude,
It's
you
not
can
good.
see how
You
much
can't.
I eat, dude. I eat a lot.
I legit lost 8 pounds yesterday because I legit went the day without eating because I had to cut some weight for the competition. I skipped 2 meals.
Yeah.
Lost 8 pounds.
You're eating like 3,500 calories a day, aren't you? Somewhere in
Probably
there?
more than that, actually.
Nice. Very good. Very
Yeah.
good. I thought I'd have to get on you
I'm
about
one of those
that.
dudes now. Like I walk around at work, and I'm walking around with a freaking jug of water because I'm just chugging water down at all times.
Oh yeah, lots of water. That's a key
We'll
factor.
talk.
Lots of water.
We'll talk about electrolytes too and water too, because that's another important thing of this.
Yeah.
And the third thing there, though, there's 3 main things: the balance of intensity and nutrition, electrolytes. Last thing is the structure of the program, which is very important too. Your program has to be balanced, so you're not just doing bodybuilding, you're not just doing jujitsu. It needs to be a proper balance, and how to go about that proper balance.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I didn't know, and I should have messaged you guys this: how many times a week do you guys do jujitsu?
So
He does it once. I do it 2 or 3 times.
I do it way more than
less than
once.
that. Oh, okay. I was going to say.
Oh no, I guess you do go on Mondays.
So I'll give you kind of like a layout of my schedule.
Give me a
So-
layout. Give me a layout.
So I work 10-hour shifts. I'll note that too, because that's like what also kind of intervenes with a lot of my lifting too, which is why I had to take out a
An
while.
active job too. You're on your feet all day.
Literally, yeah. So I work 10 hours or I'm standing, moving around all day. And then, so it's basically on Mondays, I work from 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And then I get off, I go straight to Defiance pretty much. I leave at 5:30 around that time. I leave like 5:30. I get to the place at 6 o'clock because I drive 30 minutes away to get to one of our jiu-jitsu places. We train jiu-jitsu for a little bit. We learn the motion, like learn some stuff and like drill some stuff. And then we actually like roll with people and we train like actual grappling stuff. And then after that, we do kickboxing and stuff right after that and MMA training. Some of that consists of doing like little cardio stuff with weights and stuff. So it's like a little bit of weight training, but like it's in a cardio manner, like trying to build muscle while like trying to keep it lightweight. So we're trying to like use and like build our stamina for our arms and stuff like that. So it's like we're drilling stuff and like moving that way. So then like Tuesday it goes, I'm working from 6 to 4:30 again. And then normally I try to get in weightlifting and sometimes, but like, dude, this last like month and a half I haven't been able to because I bought a house and I've been like I've pretty much been redoing a lot of stuff in my house recently. I've taken time to like build stuff into it. But if I were doing my normal schedule, I would do a lift right before till about 7 o'clock. So I'd get off 4:30, go into the gym probably 5:30, lift till about 7:15, and then I'd go to jiu-jitsu at 7:30, and then train jiu-jitsu till about 9:30, get home, and go to bed. Like eat some food, obviously. I eat a lot of food when I get home. On Wednesday, I go pretty much work again till 4:30, and then I go straight to kickboxing, and we're just drilling stuff. That's my cardio day basically, because that's like that's where like we go like rough, like we're like punching each other, kicking each other. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's
like
my gosh.
it's like
I get
cardio
roughed up
on
every single time I go there.
That's where this came
so
from.
bad.
So yeah, that's like I also like think I might have deviated my septum. Like I might have a deviated septum right here. That's why I sound like I can't breathe, because I can't. So it's like I got punched in the nose. But that's like a hard sparring and stuff like that. Like we do hard sparring and stuff on Wednesdays, and like I'll literally be sparring for like 20 rounds or something like that, and it's like they're 3-minute rounds with a minute break in between, and I'm just going the whole time. And I'm not even like exaggerating when I say that. I'm literally sparring hard the whole time because my coach is trying to get me ready for a kickboxing fight he wants me to take. I'm waiting for him to give me the day, and I'm letting him decide whenever I'm ready. So we're just kind of going through that, and he's kind of telling me like how to train and like what to eat and stuff like that. So, and then Thursday I have praise and worship practice for my church. But Wednesday, after we do the kickboxing and stuff, we also do a Bible study after, which is nice. I like to keep like church and like Christianity and stuff like that in my schedule. Have to keep that because that's what's going to keep you driving your way through everything. And I believe that with all my heart. But Thursday normally I'm able to lift after Thursdays. Like sometimes I'll go up to the Y, but like I go like in between Fountain City. That's why you see me sometimes, because I like seeing you guys. But like I'll go up to the Y till about 6:30 or something like that, and then I go for praise and worship practice. And then Fridays, that's my day off of work, because if I work 410s or if I work overtime, then I gotta get up, go at noon, and then I'll hit a morning lift, and then I go back to kickboxing at 7. And then Saturdays, I go in.
That's hell day.
What, Friday?
No, Saturday is.
Saturdays are hardcore cardio day. Like, so Wednesdays are hardcore sparring day, and then we have Saturday is our like, we're just running pretty much the whole time. We're just like running, doing all these like, we'll do like burpees and stuff, and like we're sitting there, like, we're doing bear crawls, and we're like doing these these one times they had us do the military beep test, like 20-meter pacer test, dude. And like, yeah, they're having us do all this running and stuff. And then like right after that, like if I'm gonna have to start doing this again, because I haven't done it in like the last like few months, but like we'll do like right after that we do like kickboxing, like sparring and stuff. But like after all that kickboxing, like cardio kickboxing, we go to jiu-jitsu right after that for like another hour and a half. And then Sunday's like our like church day, rest day.
We'll eat before jiu-jitsu.
Yes, that's our break to eat lunch and like get some breakfast in us or something or whatever. Because we normally get done with that stuff because we go in for that cardio training at 8 a.m. and we won't get done until about 10 o'clock. So it's like, it's crazy, dude. Like I honestly, like if I were to look back at myself, like when I was in high school, dude, I promise you, if you were to ask anybody I graduated with, they would never tell you that I would have been in a combat sport. They could never tell you that, because I was so passive with people, and like I always had like this like, oh, I don't want to fight you, like kind of like attitude. I hate fighting people just because I don't like starting drama. I don't like starting fights with people that I don't have to start fights with.
And that's important to say, because I think some people are listening right now. He just wants to fight people. He just wants that. He just wants that all the time.
Oh no! I honestly, you talk to anybody at the gym, I'm probably one of the most passive people in the gym. Like,
most good fighters don't try to pick fights.
Exactly.
That's their mentality. Is why would I need to pick a fight? It's not going to do anything.
So yeah, that's also one thing. Like I know we're on like topic on my schedule, but like I'll note one thing with like MMA and things like that. Like you talk to anybody in the MMA like world, and like they're always like the most like down to heart people. Like they're the most real with you. That's why I love the community. I love the MMA community so much because they're straight up dudes. They know how to work hard. They know what, like a lot of times, like you'll meet some stupid people, obviously. Like, yeah, you'll meet you'll meet some people that like, you know, like they just kind of speak whatever's on their mind, and like they always try to start stuff. But like you're gonna have that everywhere you go. But like from what I've seen, like majority of people that I've seen in like the MMA part. And I like this over lifting because a lot of times you see lifting dudes, they get their egos like popped up. Like MMA
is one of the things I hate about bodybuilding. That's why I'm always wearing. That's why I always wear baggy shirts and everything to keep myself
You're literally
myself.
the most jacked person in the gym, but then you wear sweatpants and like a baggy t-shirt. I'm like,
yo, you have like the best physique out of anyone there. I swear it. But like then like everybody that I see in MMA, it's literally a sport based on humbling. Like you're literally just getting humbled over and over again. Like. My first or second time ever going into like kickboxing, dude, I got knocked out my second time going. I got dropped, like punched like straight up in the jaw. Dude set me up perfectly. He was a professional fighter. He set me up, punched me in the jaw and knocked me out, and I still got up and he shook my hand and he was like, "I'm sorry." And like we were back at it. We were going just sparring like normal.
The funny thing about it is before the fight, the dude was like, "I'm old, don't worry about it."
Yeah, he did. He was like, he's like, I promise you, I'm old and rusty. You'll probably tear me up. And then he knocked me out. He did. He punched me in the jaw, and I was like, all right. My coach walked in like as I got knocked out because my mouth flew out of my mouth and like landed right by the door. And he like opened the door, sits there, and looks at me as I'm on the ground, and I get up and I just look up at him, and I'm like, dude. And he goes, well, he's probably not coming back. And he walks out, and I started laughing. I got up, and I was like, no, I'm still coming back. And I've been pretty consistent with going there. Like I never missed. I try not to miss training. I never really miss training, but like I am guilty of missing lifting occasionally. You know that. So it's like but I gotta get better at keeping it on track.
But the thing is, you're prioritizing the fighting over lifting at the moment. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you know, we're going to give you a program today that's going to try to give you the highlights of both, but in one way or another, you're going to be favoring one side more than the other. Even if you have the most balanced program, and just a personality wise, it's going to depend on the person.
Yeah, which makes sense. But yeah, I was just noting, I'm really not that like aggressive. I promise. I'm probably the least aggressive person like when it comes to that, because I get yelled at all the time when I'm grappling people. They're like, "You're not aggressive enough," and I'm like, "I know. I don't like to hurt him. Like, I don't want to do that."
I bet Chip's more aggressive than you, Garrett.
Yeah, he is. He's way more aggressive than me.
He's more of a standing guy, more of a grappling dude. So that's probably why.
He's way more natural with his grappling, whereas I am way more natural with my stand-up. Like I'm very good at reading people when it comes to like stand-up. Like I have a guy that I was bringing in. He was actually a bodybuilder. I'm trying. He went out to like Edgerton area, so like he never came around our area, but like. He came in and I was telling him because he wanted to take a cage fight. And I was like, well, I got a place. Like, he came into our jiu-jitsu place and I grappled with him. I tapped him out a few times and it freaked him out because he's like, you're not even that much. He's like, you're not bigger than me. How are you beating me so easily? I'm like, I just know. I'm like, I know the sport. What?
Was it at Fleming's?
No, it was in Bryant. It was. I'm not gonna throw the name out there.
No, don't throw the name out there. I'm just trying to remember. I don't remember that dude.
He's the guy who worked with at Mom's place.
Remember? Oh, yeah. He took a cage fight?
No, he wanted to though.
Oh, okay. But he wanted to.
So he came in and he was he was big. He was also taking steroids, but he got really big. Like he was jacked, dude, and like he was really strong, and I knew it. So like when I was yeah, he had a wrestling background, but he was trying while we were grappling. He was like using his strength and like forcing me down, and I'm like, dude, like I sat there and I could feel it. Like you can tell when a dude's on steroids too, like just by grappling him.
You definitely can.
The intensity of it.
It's crazy because like you know.
A natural lifter will have a switch they can flip on that will give them, you know, that adrenaline, that rush, that will give them that extra strength. When you're taking steroids, picture that like 10 times.
Well,
We
yeah,
switch that switch
The
that
kill mode switch.
it's basically, yeah, you could describe it as that. It's like we have a switch, natural lifters have a switch, but their switch is like, if they switch that switch, you're done for.
And it's always on too. That's what makes me mad. When they're grappling, it's always on. You always know it because he was sitting there just like trying to like force me out of like everything, and I'm like on. I'm slipping him through like chokes and stuff because I know like if I try to take his arm, he might like if I try taking his arm and trying to move it, dude, he'll force me out because like his strength was just over. So I had to like change up my game, and he forced me to like move certain ways that I'm not used to. So like I ended up having to take his back, and I choked him out. And he was sitting there like he was super out of breath too because like he's not used to the cardio. So like he's out of breath. I choked him out, and he's like, dude, you gotta tell me how to do that. You gotta teach me more. And I was like, you just gotta keep showing up. Like I just gotta keep showing up. And he shows up to one of our kickboxing places, and I was a little newer. I wasn't like great at it, but like I knew enough. And he came out just swinging at me. And I was really good at my defense, and I had a really good jab. So I just sit there like move my head around, jab, and I just punch him in the face. And I just sat there moving around, dancing around him. I was just jabbing him in the face.
I would say the worst part is that he wasn't wearing boxing gloves. He was wearing really small, like 4-ounce MMA
MMA
gloves.
gloves. And I was using 16
No, I
ounces.
fought with him once. Never again. Not with those gloves on. Especially when like you're all roided up.
Oh yeah.
You have a kill switch on. He throws one punch. I backed out of that real quick.
Smart decision.
But like it's good because he got humbled, and he wasn't mean about it though. He was really respectful. He was like, yeah, I gotta start coming, but he stopped coming. So that's
I see him at CQ a lot. I always give him free ice. He's turning fat now because he's not lifting. He was taking. I think he's off it now. But he's got that post steroid gut.
Yeah, you can always tell when somebody takes steroids because when they get off them, they blow up.
They get man tits.
Yeah.
It's really gross.
Yep.
Kind of like
I got him
Bob
out
from
of
Fight
taking him
Club.
because he.
Did you?
Yeah, I ended up punching him in the liver, so he got hit by me, and I'm not hyping myself up at all. I'm just noting that it happened. He got hit, and he was telling me afterwards. He goes, "Dude, it keeps hurting," because he said something in his intestine or like something in his body wasn't feeling right. It was on his side, and he's like, "I think my kidneys are messed up. I think my kid." And he's like telling me he broke down. He's like, "Dude, I was on test." He said he was on test or something or a D-ball or it was a steroid, some sort of steroid. I don't remember what it was. He's like, "Dude, I think it's messing me up, and I think I gotta stop taking it." And I was like, "Bro, you gotta stop taking that. I'm serious." He goes, "It's gonna mess you up like real bad." And he goes, "You sure?" And I was like, "Bro, if you want to take an MMA fight, you gotta hop off of it anyways, because you gotta take blood tests and stuff like that just to get in the fight." And he goes, "All right, I'm gonna do that." And he like hopped off, and he's after that like yeah, his strength was still there, but like you could tell it was starting to die down a little bit because he was his testosterone levels weren't like leveled anymore too.
It only takes about 2 to 3 weeks to lose that top strength.
He started to fall off
steroids.
so.
It goes fast. You don't hold on to it long. You don't hold on to it long at all. That's why when you're on steroids, that's why I say you're going to be on it for life if you want to maintain that. That's how it is.
And it'll mess you up real bad.
Oh yeah.
So back to the main topic at hand here.
Yeah, sorry, dude. I keep drifting off.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's gonna be a long one.
It's all right.
That's good. It's actually entertaining.
Yeah, it is. And so the balance of intensity, nutrition, electrolytes, structure program. How do you go about the balance of intensity with your training so that you're not lifting weights too much where you're going to bring yourself down in strength, and vice versa with jujitsu, doing too much performance based where you're not going to grow it? Or do you focus on that balance at all?
Well, sometimes. So it's like I'm obviously not training as hard as when I was trying to get jacked. Like, first off, I don't have the time to do it as much. Like, I don't have like enough time to get it in as much as like trying to get jacked. I don't have enough time to lift to get jacked. So it's like I'll do like 3 or 4 workouts, like just simple workouts, and I just do like a certain amount of numbers. But I try to go like at a certain like weight, but I don't try to like max myself out and just try to push out. I'm trying to do it to keep my muscles, like the cardio of my muscles keep moving, so I can keep moving at a faster pace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if I keep moving up higher in weight over time, it'll keep getting better. So I'm like trying to like move up slowly, but not focus on it as much as I used to. So it's like I am doing like certain movements. Like I like to do dumbbell press over like bench. I don't really bench a whole lot. I don't use the bench like the bar. I don't bench with the bar ever anymore, honestly. I don't remember the last time I've actually tried benching with the bar.
Yeah.
But like, I think squats are essential. That's a good one. I need to do it a lot more, but I know that's essential because, like, first off, like just box squats and things like that too. Perfect.
Chad hit a 405 box squat this
I
past week.
saw that.
That's
That was
crazy.
so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw that.
Especially for his age.
I know,
too.
44 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah, I'm happy for that guy. I saw you post that and I was like,
Yep,
awesome.
fantastic.
I was about to send him a good job like message in the chat, but I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I didn't. Oops. But yeah, no, if you're listening to this, Chad, congrats. Proud of you, bro. That's awesome. But no, I'm trying not to focus too much on strength, but I want to keep my muscles like healthy at the same time. Cause that's what honestly weightlifting does. It keeps my muscles healthy too. Like I feel like when I grapple, if I lift right before, dude, I feel like my grappling is way better when I lift before. I don't know why. Cause normally sometimes I'll get tired depending on what I'm doing. Like I never do kickboxing after a leg day.
I think I know why too.
Yeah.
It's your central nervous system. It's the same reason we work up doing singles in our power movement, because that way we're ready to do our actual workout. What is happening is when you work out, you're priming your central nervous system. So when you get to jiu-jitsu, you're already fired up. Everything's working. Everything's firing on all cylinders. You're ready to go. It's basically you're just warmed up.
That
Not
makes
only
sense.
that, but since you're doing higher reps, which is considered cardio, which is your lungs are already extended out. You know what I mean? Like it's already opened up, so you don't have to open up your lungs and like warm up at all. You're just ready to go, on fire, ready to body slam in some cases.
Yeah, my one rule though is I'm not doing legs right before leg day, or not leg day, but like kickboxing.
I get you.
I refuse to do leg day before kickboxing, dude. That is not something I'm trying to put myself through because I get kicked in the legs so many times.
Yeah.
And if I were to do that after a leg day while my legs are dead, bro, it would be the worst thing ever.
Oh yeah, I'm
like,
sure.
Imagine like hitting legs like hard on squats or something, like doing like a bunch of reps on squats, like not being able to walk. And then the next day going to kick somebody and they just kick you right in the leg just constantly. And you're like,
yeah.
My legs are already cramping up because they're sore. And then somebody just kicking on them, dude. No.
It reminds me of one of his first leg days when he fell down the stairs.
Oh, you remember like that video I sent you? I'm
Yeah.
like, it's my first leg day from Shawn. And
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was good. That was good.
dude, I took some pain doing that video. I did that on purpose, and it still hurt me.
It's been. I mean, we saved that video. I think.
I have that video.
Send that to me. I'll put it up here.
Yeah, dude, I'll send it to you. That's awesome.
I'll let that play for a bit. So the same question here. I'm gonna ask you, Chip. Here, how do you balance your intensity with lifting, and do you have any different things that you do than Garrett does, being a smaller dude and even?
So I don't have a specific weight schedule because I don't know what days I'm gonna be training or not because of work. Because my work, I learn by the week of what day I'm working. So what I usually do is Sundays I do a little bit of cardio training, which for me is basically setting a timer for 1 minute and seeing how I'm putting only one plate on the deadlift bar and see how many times I can do that for 1 minute, which is something that me and Chad used to do on Saturdays. Not sure if you remember that. And then since I do back the day, on Mondays, I'll take a barbell and I'll do 21s with those, which is also what Chad had us do on Sundays. Basically, it's the same thing that he had us do. I don't run anymore because I'm sorry, it doesn't work for me that well, in my opinion. I feel like my cardio's been better doing doing the row machine, the bike machine, and the 21s and stuff. Barbells. He disagrees a lot on that.
I think running's good, but
I think running's, and me and Chad talked about this last night. Actually, is running is probably what not. I hate using the word worst because it sounds like I'm being biased, but it's like there are better things to do for cardio because
risk reward's not worth it.
Right, because the thing is, running is terrible on your joints.
Oh, I agree.
Super bad.
Really bad.
David Goggins.
People always say squats are bad for your knees. Running is horrible for your knees.
Dude, it's bad.
Terrible.
No, I agree.
David Goggins cast hands.
Yeah.
He has no ligaments in his knees anymore.
I really don't have that much room to talk because I really don't run that much. But when I do, like, I'll run 2 miles at a time just because I don't like running, dude. I hate it. I also didn't know how to breathe when running. Nobody ever told me it was.
Yeah.
I always
Oh my God.
like the whole time I was like freaking out and
like when those moms walking around the Y thing trying to run a mile.
I sound like a kid with asthma. That's what I'm gonna say. I sounded like I was dying when I'd try to run 2 miles and it would kill me. And then I started actually figuring out how to breathe right, and I'm like, dude, running isn't that bad anymore. It's awesome. Like it's a discipline to breathe that way, but like I can't breathe that way anymore because I have a deviated septum. I got to get that fixed, by the way. I got punched in the nose. So it's like, that's the one thing about like doing the sport too. There, some crap happens. That's what I'll say. Crap happens. Sometimes you're going to get hurt. It just happens. Like, that's with anything though. Same thing with weightlifting. You'll hurt something at some point.
You injured yourself like 3 or 4 times.
I have like 4 or 5 injuries behind my belt.
Yeah, that's anytime I talk to people about that, like people are like, I don't want to get hurt. I'm like, bro, you're gonna get hurt doing anything.
I was going to say,
walking down the street.
any sport you do, you're going to have injuries. So if anybody's saying, I don't want to do this sport because I'm going to get hurt, you can get hurt doing any sport you want to do. I mean, it's anything you get into, you can get hurt doing.
Yeah, the only difference between MMA is you're trying to hurt the guy.
Right, exactly. It's like you're exactly. It's the difference there.
Yeah, but like the thing is too is like guys like MMA guys, like half of the time they know that they're going to get hurt. That's why they know that they're trying to figure out ways to prevent themselves from getting hurt, but also figure out how to hurt the other guy. And half the time, like you find some guys, like they're professionals, and like they'll try to knock you out, but it really doesn't like mess with you that badly. Like,
No,
you know
it
what
doesn't.
I mean?
You get used to
It's not gonna hurt you that bad. Like if I get kicked in the leg or something like that, like it, like right in the shins, dude. Like they have a thing, like they had me working this thing in my shins. Like they had me like rolling it out to kill the nerves in my shins. So like, like me kicking people in the legs when I first would do it, it would hurt like crazy. Now it's like I kick people and I'm like, oh well, there you go.
You get tougher.
Yeah, like just killing the nerves and it just like you don't even feel it.
Yeah, it's an adaptation, just like training. Training is an adaptation. You know, it's the same exact thing. You're adapting in martial arts and you're adapting in training. It's the same principles. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, but now let's talk about nutrition and electrolytes. So how do you guys go about your nutrition and electrolytes? Let's start with Garrett first.
Oh God, I don't really track it. I'm gonna be honest. So I honestly just eat a lot of rice and chicken. That's literally like what I do. Like I stopped measuring after a while, but like once I started like doing MMA and like a lot of cardio, I started eating a lot more. Like I almost doubled the amount I was eating at a time. So like I used to measure it out. Like I don't remember exactly how much I used to have, but I was taking in just when I was cutting weight, I was taking in 2,700 calories and like leveling out my protein stuff just to lose that weight. Maintain, I take about 3,000. That's my maintain. And then to gain weight is 3,200. I am now realizing that me doubling my food while I've been doing less cardio, I'm still gaining weight because yeah. So I went from like when I was done lifting with you.
That's a bad thing. That's what I try to teach people not to do.
Yeah, so I realized that, so I had to cut my weight back down because I noticed when I stopped lifting with you guys, I was at 170 and I was jacked. Now I'm 180 pounds and I look not as jacked as I was at 170. So it's like
You look like a Teletubby.
I don't even look fat. Shut up. No. But yeah, no, it was kind of crazy because like it is kind of funny though because like I started going to the gym at the Y and stuff and people still come up to me and like, how do you look just as jacked as you were when you left? And I'm like, I don't, but like thank you, I guess, because they're like, I feel like you haven't been here in a while, dude. Like, how do you still look like you did stuff? Like you're still like getting around. I'm like, it's because I've been training. I never stopped training. I just had to change up the way I was training.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to get muscular like you guys are. Like I want to learn how to beat you guys up. That's it. I'm here to be better than you. I'm just kidding. I'm obviously kidding. I don't actually think I'm better than everyone. Don't take that a bad way.
So flip it to the hydration side of things now.
Hydration. So
Yeah,
like when I
hydration.
was lifting, dude, I did not drink enough water, and I figured that out really fast. When I was training with this guy, he's a professional fighter. He's had 6 fights under his belt, like as a professional. He
Ew.
Greg.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So-
yeah.
So he was training me for like this competition, and I was at 175 pounds at the time. And he goes, I'm going to get you down to 155. And he goes, I'm going to have you go under this certain like training thing. It's going to take you 2 months and you're going to lose 20 pounds. So I'm like, all right. So yeah, I know you don't like that. You're taking a say. He's like, I'm just going to close my mouth here. So like, I know you didn't like that. It's all right though. But he's like, I'm going to have you eating straight like fish, chicken and all this. And he goes, you're going to eat enough like carbs and stuff. So like you can still keep your energy, but you're going to take in 2,700 calories and it's going to be just enough protein and like to like keep you moving. But But he's like, I want you drinking a gallon of water every day and then just a little bit of salt. And I said, okay. So I started doing that, and like my training, like instant, like I wasn't able to keep up in their warm-ups, but when I started drinking a gallon of water every day, I noticed like a huge difference because I was always dehydrated. My legs were always cramping up, and I always was just like feeling like I couldn't breathe all the time. And like, I promise you, dude, like drinking enough water a day, like it's such a game changer in training.
Oh my gosh, it definitely
like
is.
anytime I don't drink water, like enough water and stuff, like while training, like I feel like I'm gonna die.
And it's funny too, because a bodybuilder is kind of the opposite. A lot of times bodybuilders, we drink too much. And that's why most people can't get pumps at the gym.
Yeah.
It's because they're flushing all their electrolytes out. When you're training for bodybuilding, you got to remember, a lot of times you're training in an air-conditioned gym. For one, you're not sweating, you're resting a lot between sets. So when you're drinking water all throughout the day and you're not taking enough sodium, because chances are you're prepping your meals, you're making your meals, you're flushing a lot of that extra salt out. So when you're trying to lift in, you've flushed the most of that out. I use this analogy a few podcasts back, but you take a sponge, soak a sponge in water, soak it in salt. It's full of salt. Ideal. Pour water on it, and some is okay. You keep pouring, that salt is going to be gone.
Yeah.
The same dilution happens in your body, and in osmosis way. In an easy way to understand it, though, is that sponge reference. And for you guys, it's very important to get enough water because you are training in hot environments, sweating a lot. You guys are going through so much water and sodium too, making sure replenish sodium. So that's important. And I'd say, for example, are you counting this as part of your gallon right here? This energy drink?
No, I don't.
You should be. See, for a bodybuilder, we should. So for a bodybuilder, the ideal way to track it is for all your liquids through the day, add up to your gallon. See, for me, I only drink, water-wise, I drink 25 ounces in the morning and 25 ounces at training, and I sip on water throughout the day. But during my meals, I have a large glass of milk. So that all contributes to your main water. So for a bodybuilder, it's important to make sure not drinking too much. A lot of people will get to the gym and feel tired and they can't get a pump, and they think that's their pre-workout. They're like, oh, my pre-workout's not working. It's your hydration. You flushed all your salts out for the day.
Yeah.
So it's funny. That's completely the opposite there. For you guys, we have to make sure we're not taking too much water because it can affect us negatively when you guys need to take in most. So that's a really interesting facet right there.
It's honestly, it's mostly because of like what you said earlier, like the heat, because the place that we train at, dude, they don't keep the AC on in there. You literally walk in there.
Fan.
They have like this big old fan, and like it's just massive. And then they have like the room is like sitting at 90 degrees, like straight up. And you walk in there, you take 5 steps, and you're already dripping sweat.
You look vascular as crap, though.
Because you're
Because
it's warmer when you're. That's another thing too. If you really want to get pumped up and get a really amazing pump, work out in a really hot place with enough water to not dehydrate yourself, but not too much where you're flushing all your salt out, and you'll become super vascular. I mean, that's when it's heat, your veins come to the top of your skin when it's hot out. That's
why a lot of people lift outside with their shirts off.
In Gold's Venice, in California and whatnot.
Didn't you lift somewhere like that one time?
I lifted in a place similar when I was in Nevada. I was there for a conference, and we lifted outside for a little bit in a place. It was a venue. It was interesting though. But
would you say it's better than a normal gym at all?
No, I prefer air conditioned. I cover up when I train anyway. I don't care if I have a pump. I'm working on trying to build muscle.
Did you have a cover there too?
What?
Did you have a cover there too?
No, we were working out without our shirts on there.
Nevada,
it was like 100 degrees out when we were training there. I mean, it was crazy. But yeah, no, it's.
You'd have seen me shirtless, dude. I'm telling you, I would have been training shirtless.
Oh, yeah.
I would have.
Want to see me shirtless.
No, we
I don't either. But I would.
I mean, you were just, if you had a shirt on, you were going to take that off immediately because it was so hot.
Yeah.
But so you taught me you drink a lot of water. Now, what about salt? Are you focusing on getting enough salt in?
So this has 30 grams of sodium in it.
That's it. That's
30 milligrams. I've been taking this, and then I'll throw like a pinch of salt, and I'll just down it when I get home.
That's such a small amount of salt.
I know it is. I just take in a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's just I'll like take a pinch when I get home, and I'll just down it, or I'll eat some like foods with salt on it, and just like try to get as much as I can. Like I like French fries. I love them. I don't know why. It's just I know it's not that great for you, but like I'm like, you know what? I'll just buy some French fries, and I'll go like McDonald's. I'll pick some like French fries up just because like there's a lot of salt in it. And I'm like, this is cool.
being a athlete the way you guys are, you guys should be supplementing with sodium.
I know.
I don't do that. I need to do that.
And it would help you a lot. I mean, you would notice like tremendous strength benefit differences. I know you would.
That would make sense because I do feel like not as energized at the gym as I used to be.
Mm-hmm. It's sodium, and that's I'm not talking just about the gym. I'm talking about your jujitsu. Really, you could benefit a lot from that. I mean, if I was to do jujitsu, I would definitely focus on that, making sure to get enough salt, because when you're sweating, yes, you're sweating out water, but you ever taste your sweat by accident?
Yeah.
It's
like
salty.
Salt. Yeah.
You're losing so much salt. And if you don't replenish that, you're an electrolyte disadvantage there, and you're actually dehydrated. People think hydration is all about water. Hydration is the balance of water, H2O, and sodium in the body. And obviously potassium, magnesium, those secondary ones, but the main performance ones, H2O and sodium. And if they're out of whack, you're going to feel like crap. So that should be something you should always focus on top.
I'll keep that in mind because I definitely haven't been taking enough sodium. But yeah, no, I made water like a big priority lately, just because I stopped. Like, I notice like whenever I'm not drinking enough, dude, like it's so bad. Like, you feel so crappy.
You ever just look at your urine to see how much?
I was about to say that. That's a way that I lied. I do kind of measure a little bit. I make sure that my pee is yellow tint.
Yes, good.
I make sure
Very
I do
good.
that. Yeah.
It should a healthy urine is about a lemonade color.
Yeah.
That is where your body is showing we're good on water, we're good on salt, you're ready to roll. If it's too clear, your body is telling you we got way too much water. We need more sodium because we need more sodium.
It's not good.
Exactly. That's when you start to get headaches. You start to feel brain fog. You'll notice when your pee is that bright yellow, like a lemonade, a pretty yellow color. That's a good color because your body's like saying we're good. We're excreting enough sodium. We're taking in enough. It's a proper healthy balance.
Yeah.
If you're running to the bathroom all the time, that's not a good thing. That means you're just flushing out all your electrolytes. You're gonna feel like crap really quick.
Oh, I know. I did that when I first started drinking a lot of water. I experienced that. It's not fun. At work, there was like a time, it was like right when I first started doing that whole water thing, and I was like, man, I gotta get this down as fast as I can. I'm like chugging the jug.
That's another thing. Never chug water. That's a big one. Chugging water is, when you chug water, your body will actually go through it faster. It looks at it as, we're getting all this water. We have to pump this to the kidneys fast. We have to get rid of it, because your body is always trying to maintain an equal balance of water to sodium because it knows what it needs to function right. God did not design our bodies in a messed up way where it doesn't know how to function. Our body constantly regulates sodium and water throughout the day. And if you start to chug water, your body's going to freak out and be like, we need to pump more to the kidneys. Because we need to get the sodium dilution equal to make the body feel good. Because if you can literally die from drinking too much water.
Oh yeah,
I make that mistake.
Don't chug water. Never chug water, guys.
I'll chug like 3 cups of water at every meal.
Don't do that. What you're doing is literally your body. You're taking in that sodium, and your body's like, yes, we're getting this, and all of a sudden the body's like, shit, what's he doing? That's what you don't need to do that. I mean, I look at this. I've learned a lot since getting Siri. I've literally learned a lot from just having a dog. I've noticed, Siri. She doesn't chug water. She drinks water when she's thirsty, and she's healthy. It's like you can learn a lot from watching an animal because they naturally will do what they need. If you're thirsty, you will drink. The body will naturally drink. If you're thirsty, you'll naturally gravitate to water. That's what the brain will do because the brain's like, we need more water. But if you're just chugging water because you think, I've got to get some water, you maybe don't need that extra cup of water. It's possible. And you might, decrease it a little bit and be like, wow, I feel really damn good today. What's the difference? Oh, I decreased my water some. I'm not flushing out all my electrolytes. I do not recommend chugging water. That's something I'm very against.
Yeah, I don't chug it, but like I do drink in big amounts at a time.
Okay.
Just to keep me going, just because I want to get that gallon up by the end of the day. So it's
pretty easy to drink a gallon. I do about a gallon a day.
It is.
I do about a gallon a day, and it's actually a little bit too much. I mean, I recommend people start with half their body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 160 pounds, that's 80 ounces a day. And if you need a little extra more, drink a little extra more. That's what I recommend. But for me, I take in close to a gallon. I've measured it out before just to see. But yeah, I probably take in too much.
I try to take in at timestamps now. So I get up at 5:30. To get in at work, or 5:30. I get up, I'll take a drink of water, get around, go to work. Second I get to work, couple chugs, not chugs, but like take like big gulps, and I go.
See, in the morning, if you want to chug some water in the morning, a little bit, not crazy amounts, like 50 ounces, not something stupid like that. But if you want to chug maybe 20 ounces, if you're trying to get ready real quick, that's okay, because during sleep you lose a lot of water in your sleep.
You lose almost 2 pounds, dude.
So what I do, I do drink water pretty fast in the morning. I drink about 20 ounces when I wake up, just down it before I get to work. But I'll also throw in 500 milligrams of sodium with it, so my body's not freaking out. That's the difference between a lot of people.
That tastes so bad.
It's only 500 milligrams. It's nothing. My training, I throw in a little extra than that. I mean,
we had a competition
20 ounces is nothing. And I'm down it. It's good to go. But if you ever do chug water, add salt to the water, just so your body doesn't freak out.
Yeah, we had that competition this morning. We that's why we didn't get here till like late. But like, we had that competition, and like I was going in at 180. I weighed in yesterday at 183, and I lost all that poundage. I lost 2 pounds overnight.
I wouldn't say you lost all of it. You had to like take off all your clothes on that scale to make sure you.
Oh, I did. Yeah. I came in
butt naked.
No, I wasn't butt naked. I was in my underwear, but I had to weigh in front of everyone, just like in my underwear, and I didn't care. Yeah. I literally told her, I was like, I walked in and it weighed in, so I was at 183.5 last night. And that was after just like rolling, like I was just rolling lightly with some people. And I walked in, I went on the scale, and I weighed in, because I weighed right before, and like I weighed in my underwear at the house, and I was like, oh, 180, cool. Like 180 exact. I'm like, all right, I'm good. So I go up there, and I got my clothes on, and I take my bag off, and they're like, all right, let's go. And I step on the scale, and it goes 181.2. And I'm like, I'm looking at her, and I'm like, if I take my clothes off, I'll be at weight. She goes, I'm going to have to ask you. And I'm like, you really want me to take my clothes off? She's like, you're going to have to, because we have to see the numbers. And I'm like, all right, fine. So
I really do think that the 1 pound off is kind of stupid. I feel like they should give you a little bit of slack, because making you just like go to a certain exact weight, I think that's kind of extreme.
Not really. So that's what was one of my questions actually today. Do you guys cut weight for jiu-jitsu?
Barely any.
No.
Barely any.
Okay.
No, I don't anymore, because when I first did, I wanted to, because I always thought, because wrestlers would always do it, and I was like, oh, this has to be something I have to do. But honestly, for like anybody like who's watching this and they want to start training jiu-jitsu, just go compete at the weight you're at, because there's no point at a beginner level to throw yourself at a lower weight with people that are smaller than you. Like, I learned that the hard way, because first off, if you're going against like smaller people, they're a lot faster than you.
Dude,
I can promise you that.
Him choking out a dude like half his size because he cut some weight.
What?
Yes, I cut weight, and they put me with some dude that was half my size, and I choked him out so fast. The competition was so like, it was easier, yes. Yeah, I get you're gonna want wins, but if you're a beginner, your matches don't mean anything to you. Like honestly, like
it's experience.
It's all
and the
about
same thing for powerlifting too. People come to me about powerlifting advice, and they're trying to say, how can I drop water into this meet? It's my first meet. I want to do really good, and I want to set some records. I'm like, don't do that. It's your first meet. Get the experience. Eat into the meet. I don't care if you're 20 pounds over what you usually are. Eat as much as you want to for that meet. Get strong and just kill it on the platform. Do the best you can and start out with those numbers. You can always, if you want to get competitive later on, drop some weight, drop a weight class. You can do that. But experience is everything in these sports.
That's
when you're
my
talking
thing,
about
though.
anything to do with weight, water loss.
Yeah, that's what my coach was telling me too, because he was the one, like my jiu-jitsu coach, that we like, the guy we pay to train us. He told me straight up, he's like, I don't want you cutting weight anymore, because he looked at me, because there was one competition I was gonna go in at 170, and I weighed in like that week, and I was at 178, and I was like, oh crap, and I already paid for it, so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna jump in and just like quickly like lose 8 pounds. So I threw on like 5 shirts, like 3 hoodies. I threw on my gi, and like, dude, I sweat out all of that poundage. Like 8 pounds worth of water weight all went out that day. I weighed myself, and I was at 170 exact.
It's super unhealthy to do that.
Yeah,
It was. I felt horrible.
Oh yeah.
And I got last at that competition.
Yeah.
I was like drained. I was horrible. And I told coach right after that, I looked at him, I was like, I am never cutting weight again. You won't see that out of me. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that again. And the only time, like, if I take like a kickboxing fight and they want me to drop like 5 pounds, that's not a big deal. Like, you can drop 5 pounds out of just like over time. That's not hard to do, but like, that's around my weight class. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be stupid of me to go up at 185 if I'm weighing 170. You know what I'm saying? Like 175. Right. So there's no point doing that. But like, if I'm If I'm gonna compete and I'm like, oh, I gotta drop 20 pounds, don't do that. That's not right. You shouldn't do it. You'll mess your body up before you even get good at the sport.
Oh yeah.
You gotta like take it slow with those kind of things, dude. Like you'll mess your body up.
All right, so we're going into, are you smarter than a 5th grader?
What the heck?
No, I'm not. I can tell you right now, I'm not. I barely made it through high school. You think I was smarter than 5th grader?
Yeah, we'll find out today if you are not.
Here we go. I'm ready.
All right, Garrett, will ask you first. What force pulls objects towards Earth's core and keeps humans from floating in the sky?
Gravity.
What about you?
Gravity.
You guys are both right. Ding, ding, ding.
All right,
both
ready.
I
correct.
thought you were about to say like pull some bull.
Dude,
like,
I train MMA instead of going to college. You think I'm gonna pass this?
How many countries are in Africa?
Africa? I don't know.
27.
I was gonna guess 27. Yeah.
Oh
Let's say
shoot!
27.
No. 16. No, it's gotta be more than 16.
I don't think it's 27. I'm starting to lose it.
Think it.
You have a cheat code? No. You ain't got a cheat page.
12 or 13.
No, it's 52.
You're closer. 54.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Africa is actually really huge.
Yeah, Africa's huge. Yeah.
I said 27 and I was like, why did I say that?
No.
No.
United States.
How many syllables are in the word creation?
3. No, isn't it 1?
No.
That's 3, right?
It's 3. You guys are both right. Yep.
Creation.
Creation.
The Statue of Liberty was a gift to the U.S. from where?
New England.
Isn't it Italy?
Not New England.
Italy or France?
England. Oh, the British. That sounds so racist.
What'd you say?
Italy or France, isn't it?
You gotta pick one or the other.
I'll go with France.
You got it right. France.
Really?
Nice word, Garrett. That's a hard
Say it.
one.
Dude,
I
what the heck?
That was a good one.
I paid a little bit of attention in history, like
I don't remember them
history-wise.
saying this in history.
I do.
What's the largest and deepest ocean in the world?
Mariana Trench.
Is it the Pacific Ocean?
Yeah, you're overthinking it.
Dude, you
Oh,
suck.
oh.
Mariana Trench.
Isn't that-
It is the deepest part of.
I told you I
That
paid.
is, that is impressive that you know that. Not a lot of people do know that, but that is right. Which blood type is known as the universal recipient?
O positive or something like that.
AB.
AB.
Said that.
Yeah, that's what I said, man. I don't know.
The 100 Years' War of the 14th and 15th centuries was primarily a conflict between England and what other country?
America.
Oh. Mexico.
Bruh. I don't know.
Dude,
It's honestly probably
Russia.
England and Mexico? What?
You never know. All right.
man. This is bro. Y'all about to make me look
Russia.
dumb on here. I don't know.
Russia.
France.
Is it France?
I said France.
Yep.
That would have been my second guess, but I don't
England
know.
and Mexico. How
I
would
don't
they? How?
You
Where would
never
they
know.
battle at?
You never know.
Honestly, I was thinking of like Civil War type stuff. I'm not gonna lie. That's like the only thing.
That's
Not
against
Civil
each
War, but
other.
like, you know,
Yeah.
like the fight for America, not Civil War. Civil
Right.
War's against America.
How many teaspoons are in 5
Bro,
tablespoons?
you can't do me like that.
Let me do the math.
On his phone. What?
You
I'm
can't
not-
use your phone.
I'm not on my phone. My hands are free. Hold on.
I just took food. I don't know why I can't think.
Wait, tablespoons or teaspoons?
How many teaspoons are in 5 tablespoons?
Go fish.
Okay.
No. 30. I don't know.
15.
Is it 15? I don't know. I'm
I
just,
should've went with
dude,
16.
I'm stupid. It's all right.
How many faces are there on a cube?
On a cube? 4. No, 8. It's 6. Yeah, it's 6. Wait.
He got it before you.
I know. I had to say 6. Wait. I had to think about it. I was
Chip
like,
got
wait.
that right off the bat. Yep.
I was sitting there playing it in my head.
I
Dude.
don't
I
like
suck at this
rethink that
game.
16.
And the last question, what color in the visible light spectrum does chlorophyll absorb the least?
White.
I'm going to go with white. I feel like that's
It's green.
green.
What the
Why is
heck?
that? Why is that?
Because it's what it's the opposite of what they absorb. That's what the colors will come out to be.
Okay.
No.
Whatever the opposite that light spectrum is the color it is. That's how. Yeah,
Yeah, you made me feel stupid. Dude, they don't ever teach that stuff anymore.
that was
What-
taught in 5th grade, man. Well, back when we were in. Well,
Yeah.
maybe
Oh,
when I was in
not
school.
these-
So
Not
my
me.
thing about that too is like with the education system, like high school, you never go over stuff like that, or like you just don't remember it because they don't make it memorable. Like
No,
they don't
I-
make it memorable.
I
you know?
remember very very little from school.
That's what I'm saying.
I learned way more after school.
That's why, honestly, I literally stopped. I never went to college just because I was tired of schoolwork. I'm not a schoolwork person. Never have been. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just work to get what I want. Like, that's fine. Like, people like using education, but it's okay.
So back to the main topic at hand.
Yeah.
Instead of education. Right. We're going to go back into balancing powerlifting, balancing performance, but how to do it the proper way that I would recommend. How I would go about it if I was to do what you guys do. First thing I would do is figure out my nutrition. I would add 1,000 calories more than my maintenance level. So I would track for a week, figure out the average, and then add 1,000 on top of that right off the bat. I wouldn't up it slowly. I know I'm going to be going through those calories, so I'd be going to it right away. So if I'm maintaining at 3,000, 4,000 calories, boom. I would take in about 1 gram per pound of body weight for protein. I would take about 0.5 grams of for fat, 0.5 grams per pound for fat, and then the rest I'd fill with carbs, whatever that comes out to be. The next thing I would look at is electrolytes next. I would divide my body weight in half for ounces, figure out how much that would give me, how many ounces of water I need, and I would make sure that amount is taken in before my main training session for the day. Whether it be jujitsu or weightlifting, I'd want that in before I train. And then after my training, I would add in water for the weight loss I had during training. So I would weigh before training and I would weigh after. And I would minus those two numbers and I'd be like, okay, this, I know I have to replenish some water because I lost this much during training. I would only do this if I was trying to balance a performance-based with bodybuilding. I don't do this with bodybuilding. Maybe you should do it, but I don't do it. But if you were going to try to do both these, you should probably do that. And the next thing, salt. I would do salt, 500 milligrams before training, 500 during, and 500 after.
I should try using a lot more salt before training.
It's a good way to go about it. And then, I'd salt my food throughout the day as well. I wouldn't obsess around about it too much. Just make sure your food is salted to taste. And that's my electrolyte and water program. For the actual training program, I would do is a conjugate style type of training. Conjugate was mainly founded for powerlifting. Louis Simmons was the creator of conjugate style. It's basically creating that good performance. Conjugate was used by powerlifters, but you can also form conjugate for any sport as well. Whenever I work with an athlete, I will always put them on some type of conjugate program. A conjugate is very similar in a way to the way we train by doing power and then in hypertrophy, but there's more emphasis on the performance aspect in the training that benefits the sport. So for example, I wrote out a program here. The day one would be a bench day. You'd have bench as your main primary movement for the day. You can do a dumbbell bench or a flat dumbbell or an incline bench too. It doesn't really matter. You can do whatever you want to there. Ideally, you would want to do about, I wrote here on the program here, 5x5. A 5x5 is a great solid strength program. It gets your strength work in. So you do your 5x5. The secondary exercise, and then for secondary exercise on that day, you're going to be looking at something that accessorizes the main movement. So for instance, you did a incline barbell press as your main movement. You did a 5x5. The secondary would maybe be a floor press on the floor, a floor press maybe with dumbbells or a floor press even with a barbell. It's the accessory movement to that main movement. And then the next movement after that would just be like a bodybuilding movement, like throwing in an incline dumbbell bench, something for some reps. And maybe throw in some cable flies or some dips. These don't have to be real long workouts. They're just something afterwards, maybe 2 accessories afterwards, and then throw in some abs at the end of it. That would be a good chest day. And that's day, and I don't even want to call it chest day. I'm calling it day one. Day 2 is squat day. So squat day, you're going to have your big squat movement. It's either can be a front squat, a box squat. You pick a type of squat that you want to do. Knock out a 5x5. The secondary would be a secondary to that. So if you did regular low bar squats without a box, the secondary movement would be low bar box squats. If you did a box squat, maybe it would be a front squat for your secondary movement. The secondary movement's not going to be trained by 5 reps. The secondary movement you could do for sets of 6 to 8 in that range. You don't want to really go over 8 reps on a secondary movement. So that's what I would go about there. And then you could do accessories like maybe throw in a little bit of leg extensions and leg curls and calves. Just very simple bodybuilding work. You don't have to train core on that day because squats will kill your core. There's no need for it. And the third day, day 3, is overhead press day. So this is you getting your overhead press movement. You're going to have picking either a barbell seated overhead press or a barbell Standing overhead press you don't see very often anymore, but you could try that. That's going to be your 5x5 movement. You knock out your 5x5. Then the accessory to that is another press, maybe a seated dumbbell, something like that. Your reps are in the 8 range for that. And maybe throw in some, side laterals for some shoulder health and some rear delts. Rear delts are a very important one. And then at the end of that day, you're going to do Tabata sprints. So you're going to do 8 rounds, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off on a recumbent bike, basically a bike that you can just go hard on. And you're going to do that one Tabata set, which is 8 rounds, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. It doesn't take long to go through. You're only going to do that once. You're going to be drenched in sweat by the end. So you did your shoulders, you got a little bit of hits in there. That's day 3. Day 4 is your deadlift day. So deadlifts, deadlifts are important for more so than performance than bodybuilding. I'm more bodybuilder. We don't deadlift, but for performance, I would deadlift.
Good power movement.
It's really a very good power movement. Yeah. You do cardio doing it. It's very good. Picking weight off the floor in a proper form movement, not bad form, is very good for a person. And it's something that you should train if you're training performance based. So I have deadlifts in here. You would knock out a nice deadlift, solid 5x5. Deadlift secondary could be like a rack pull or a block pull or pause deadlifts. You don't see pause deadlifts very often anymore. A block pull is when the plates are elevated up on blocks and you pull from a higher range. It's kind of like a rack pull, but it's closer to the ground though.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yep. So so it's just a little bit different than the main lift. That's the main point of the accessory lift. And that would be, trained about 6 to 8 reps in that range. And then you go into a bodybuilding back workout, throw in some weighted pull-ups, some bent over rows, complex stuff, not too much machine stuff, because for performance, you want to train hard and heavy. You want to get that hard and heavy rows, and weighted pull-ups are another great one. And then throw in some biceps and triceps at the end of that workout. And that's your weekday working weight in the gym. That's 4 days of bodybuilding. Now you can mix with that. Like I said, I didn't know your schedule writing into this for what you do for jujitsu, but you can mix the days that you feel would be best with because you're going to have overlaps. You're going to be doing one of these workouts on your performance days too. I wouldn't do, say, your hardest hell week jujitsu day on leg day. Yeah, I just wouldn't do that. No. I would not advise that. So you're going to have to play with that and adjust that. But that's a good bodybuilding template to go about that would accessorize.
I have to merge some of those because I only really have time to lift on like 3 days a week.
3 days a week.
So that's what makes it more difficult too.
Yeah. 3 days a week is hard because you have to do more total body stuff.
Yeah, the only reason why I'm not saying it because I don't want to lift more.
Total body's hard to do.
So I don't want to say that because I don't want to lift. It's like I get off work at 4:30 on a Monday and then I'm out by 5:30. You know what I'm saying? Like I got and by the time I get home, like I gotta get stuff around so I can get there. And like by the time of that, like I would maybe be able to lift for like 10 minutes and then I had to leave like right away.
Right.
And then like it'd be Mondays and then like Wednesdays. I think Mondays and Wednesdays are the only days like I absolutely couldn't. And then Sundays I use as a rest day. Like I gotta have that rest day.
Oh yeah, you gotta have rest, and that's in my plan too. You gotta have rest.
And my motto is like I always take the Sabbath off. Always Sunday is my rest day. Yep. It always will be. Always has been. Yep. So I'm like, I never work out on a Sunday. So like if I were to do that like maybe 3 days, like I could probably try to fit in because I normally could fit in a lifting down a Tuesday, Thursday, and like Friday, Saturday. So that makes 4 actually.
Yeah. So you could probably do a 4-day split, but yeah, I mean, you could do 3 day and you'd have to have a little bit of overlap. If you had to combine one of these days, I would combine maybe, let's see here, maybe an overhead press with the deadlifts. I would do a deadlift and then an overhead press right afterwards. Okay. I would combine those two, or even a deadlift and bench too. But back when I used to powerlift, Fridays was bench and deadlift day, and upper accessory after that. That also worked fine too. But the main thing is knowing, not putting crazy ass weight workouts on your performance days. Yeah. Having that balance between those. And then the next thing here is prioritizing recovery. So if this was me, this is what I would do, doing sleeping temp below 70 degrees, ideally 65 to 68 degrees a night.
I keep mine 67.
That's 60.
Oh wow, nice. I mean that's
60,
that's
bro.
really in the summer. What do you guys pay for your air conditioning?
Yeah, dude.
I'm paying
I pitch
crazy money
I
right
pitch it for it. We're good.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm paying crazy money for my air conditioning. I keep mine at my house at 69.
I charge your mom and dad like $300 a month, bro.
I mean, in the winter, I do keep my house at 60. I love it. I freaking love it.
Dude,
But
I was telling about it. I was like, dude, warning. I'm pretty sure I heard him say on his Facebook story, Shawn keeps his house cold, so you might want to read his sweatshirt.
in the winter,
Yeah,
I do.
my dad reminded me of that. That's probably in the winter.
Right. In the summer, I mean, I don't want to destroy my bank account with the bills. So the studies say basically 65 to 69 degrees is the ideal temperature. So I keep mine at 68. I feel like that's a good balance. Ideally in the winter, I like mine around 62 to 65. That's just where I like my sweet spot, but
my
it's too
roommate's a
expensive.
big boy, so we keep it at 67.
Yeah.
That's where it stays.
That's fair.
Main thing is though, making sure it's in that range, about 65 to 69. Try not to go above 70 degrees to sleep. You're going to be hurting yourself. Next, sleep at 8 hours a night. Do you guys get 8 hours?
Oh, I get more than that.
That's good. That's real good. You don't, Garrett?
No, he gets like 5 or 4.
No, I get 6 to 7. That's what I try.
Elon Musk gets 7 hours of sleep.
Yeah,
You know that?
yeah, you get 6 to 7. Actually, he does. It varies for him. I've read about that. But I don't think you have to get necessarily 8 hours. I think it's more about the quality of sleep. I use an app.
Yeah.
I use an app called Sleep Cycle, and it's pretty damn
I remember I
accurate.
used to use that app a little bit.
It's pretty damn accurate, and what it does is measure your breathing pattern and measures when you go to REM sleep during the night and when you get out of it, and it gives you an average summary for the next day, like what quality of what quality of sleep percentage wise you got. So if you wake up and you see you got 80% sleep, you're like, okay, that's pretty decent. You get 90% sleep, you're like, I'm gonna kill today. Or you give it a bad night's sleep. Like I had a bad night's sleep last night, but I was up till 2 editing podcast. I woke up and it was, 70%. So I was like, well, I'm not trained today. It doesn't really matter. But the point is you should probably shoot, if you're going to use that app or any app out there, there's a lot of apps, shoot for, 85 to 90% sleep. Try to get that every night. That's ideal. And you don't have to necessarily get 8 hours of sleep. It's more about quality than quantity. I know people that say they sleep 9 hours, but their quality might only be 60%. They might be up during the night. Their house might be too hot. It's all about quality. If you sleep 6 hours and you have 90% quality sleep, you're good to go. I mean, Arnold's, freak of nature, but, slept 5 to 6 hours a night during most of his bodybuilding career. It's insane. I don't know how he did it, and trained 2 times a day at times. I mean, it was insane, but I wouldn't advise that for people, but maybe he got good quality sleep. Maybe his house was 60 degrees. You don't know, but it's interesting to think about though. When people say, oh, Arnold only slept 5 to 6 hours a night. And that's true, but
everybody's built different.
Everybody's built different. Exactly. Not everybody can be the same and needs the same amount of sleep to function.
Yeah, I don't function right unless I have at least 6 hours. So,
Yeah.
like, I get up at like 5:30, so I literally make sure I'm in bed by 11.
Yeah.
11:30 in between that timestamp.
I don't
So
want to talk about what time I put to sleep.
You're so young.
yeah, I was gonna say, dude, once you start like working like a full-time job and you're doing all that, dude,
Yeah.
you'll start.
It gets to midnight and you're like, yeah, I'm too tired to do anything. I want to go to bed.
Oh yeah, unless I'm playing video games with my buddies, like on the weekends, like a Thursday night, because I don't work that Friday, dude. I'll stay up and I'll play till like 2 a.m. because like I don't do any I don't really do much that Friday morning unless I have to like work overtime for work. But like that's normally my time to stay up.
Next thing I have on here is after each training session, I would replenish my electrolytes. This is what I use for bodybuilding actually to this day. I started doing this a few years back and it works fantastic. I'll get home, I'll pour out a glass of milk, a tall glass of milk, and I measured it out before, and it's not quite 2 cups. It's a little shy of 2 cups. I think it's like 12 to 14 ounces, somewhere in there. So a little bit shorter than 2 cups. And then with that, I will have 4 to 8 ounces of orange juice, depending on how hard the training session was, to get the potassium. Like, people don't think about potassium, but it's important to get potassium in there. And also, people don't know this, but I learned this from Stan Efferding, is fructose is good for the liver before a meal. A little bit of fructose, not a ton, but a little bit. Fructose is a type of sugar.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people always say, fructose is bad for you, and in large amounts it is. Your body can't handle large amounts of fructose, but there is a benefit to having a little bit of fructose, up 4 to 8 ounces of orange juice, a little bit before a meal, because it can actually help you digest. It actually primes the liver for better digestion. So I will have that when I get home. And then I'll also have a shot of pickle juice.
Ew.
Yes.
No, that sounds good.
For the sodium replenishment, because a shot of pickle juice has about 800 milligrams of sodium in
Some
it.
dude this morning was
my
cutting weight by
God.
doing
And-
I'm
that.
gonna start buying that
So
stuff, dude.
it has about 800 milligrams of sodium. And also, too, the vinegar is very good for your gut. Vinegar promotes good gut health. Yes, vinegar is amazing for your gut health. So when you take in that, when you're taking in, and you could add a protein shake too. I don't feel like wasting money on protein shakes. I take in plenty of protein a day, and then you don't need that. But if you wanted to take in a protein shake, you could then too at that time. But the point of the pickle juice, though, is basically bioavailability. It makes everything easy to digest. And plus replenish sodium too. About 800 milligrams per shot of pickle juice. So and that's my post workout, and then I have my dinner afterwards. So I would do that exactly the same. Nothing is different there. The only difference is maybe on a training day where I'd have to overlap jujitsu with bodybuilding, I would bring orange juice with me and have that between to replenish more of those sugars, because
I would understand.
Yes, orange juice is actually a very good thing to replenish after a workout with some milk. Those two together actually are amazing together.
I
because-
love Fairlife milk. That's what I drink.
Is that why orange juice has like that strong taste to it? It's because of the sodium?
you mean potassium? So,
Yes.
So that's a reason for the orange juice, potassium.
That's why I hate it so much. Because that strong taste it has.
I mean, there's some sodium in orange juice too, but the main reason you're doing it is for potassium and a little bit of fructose for the liver too, the healthy fructose.
I was
like
always
to-
told to just go straight to bananas for potassium,
Well-
never orange juice. That's actually
And bananas. So, and also another thing too, a lot of people don't know is bananas. We're talking about too wanting to replenish as fast as possible. The fact is, a
Yeah.
banana will have to be broken down by the body. It's fiber, which is good. But when you're traveling, when you're say going from bodybuilding to you have to go ready right away for jujitsu, right?
yeah.
You want the fastest digesting carbs as possible.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It wouldn't even be a bad idea to throw some gummy bears in too.
I
To
eat
get-
Rice Krispies beforehand.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad one, but gummy bears would be better in that because of the glucose. You would want the glucose
Chris
for
told
that.
me that.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Chris on that. And completely. And when you're training like that, when you're doing such high stuff, like you're in the gym and then you're also doing a performance sport, you need to get those sugars replenished. That's another thing that could make you feel not as good as if your sugars aren't getting replenished. Anytime you're doing performance, sugar
Dude,
is important.
I tell you what, after I get off work, like I don't know why, but I'd have like this urge, and I'd have like gummies and stuff, and I'd always just munch on some gummies and then go straight to a workout.
Yeah, it's a glucose. It's fast digesting carb.
Yeah, somebody tried telling me one time, they're like, "Oh, that's bad because all the sugar is gonna mess you up." I'm like,
No,
"No, dude,
it's
I
gonna-
feel better when I
yeah.
eat the gummy bears, dude."
You need it when you train like
I
that.
used to buy like gummy worms and stuff, and I'd keep a bag in my room. I still do. I have a bag of gummy worms chilling in my room. So that's funny that you
Yep.
say that, because I'm like, I always thought it was a bad thing. I always kept it hidden, but now
when we
I'm
used
like,
to
"Oh,
when we
that's
used to
good."
powerlift, we used to snack on Twizzlers between our sets.
I love
When we used to
Twizzlers.
Was
deadlift.
it Mikey that would eat cookies before sets?
Yeah, he would do that, and cookies. That's a little different, but I'd prefer the instant glucose. But
I got a bag of Twizzlers at home too, so thank God.
yeah, but we're talking more like performance based. If you're just doing bodybuilding and listening to this, you don't need the extra sugars. You don't. You're resting 3 minutes between sets. You're a bodybuilder. You don't need those extra sugars. Some fructose after a workout like I do with orange juice, that's fine, but you don't need to go crazy with the sugars, crazy with the gummy bears. You'll replenish your carbs before your next workout. Plenty good. We're talking mainly about mixing that performance aspect with bodybuilding. That's when you need that extra jolt, because you got to be recovered for your next training session. It's so important. I'd weigh before. I talked a little bit about that. Way before and after training for weight loss, replenish the water lost, and I'd still do my 10-minute walks after meals. Proper digestion. Get those 10-minute walks in. I talk all about that. I mean, I've done many podcasts about 10-minute walks.
I started doing that. I'm not nearly as bloated anymore.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
because
digest.
I
You
eat large
digest.
amounts of food.
Same here. I don't eat. I don't eat a lot. I don't eat frequent like during the day. Like I don't eat like very frequently throughout the day. I'm not a fan of eating every couple hours. I just don't see the need to it because I'm at a desk all day. I don't need that constant intake of glucose throughout the day. I need food about 3 hours before training, 1 hour before training, and then after training. That's when I need my food.
I'm always moving throughout the day. I'm
Right,
walking
that's
around.
the difference.
I keep snacks in my area, like protein bars and stuff. I keep a lot of snacks, dude.
But you're also on your feet all day.
Yeah, I'm walking
That's the
around
difference.
all day long.
You eat for what you need. And not one plan will work for everybody. I wouldn't recommend my plan to Garret. He would be hungry all the time.
Yeah, me and my
He would
work
really
buddy.
be hungry all the time.
Yeah, me and my work buddy, we had this whole table in our workspace. Like we're right next to each other in our work areas. We have like a designated spot for like just snacks.
Yeah.
And we have that whole thing just covered with like chips and like candies and stuff and like protein bars, and we have it stacked with that stuff.
But for the majority of people, they don't need that. They don't need that. If you're just going to the gym one time a day, you don't need all those snacks.
It's funny because people always ask me like, how are you guys not fat? Because you guys always snack on stuff. And I'm like, dude, it's because I don't have time to eat a whole lot of food in one portion. Like, that's why.
You make me crave trolley gummy right now, I'm not gonna lie.
They have that stuff in my workplace, and I always buy them all the time. They taste so good.
So we're going to go into a little Q&A right now. We'll go through these questions. You guys posted, I posted on my Instagram, and I had some questions for you guys that came out here. So
I got some answers.
We'll go into this. First question that somebody asked is, how can bodybuilding exercises like deadlifts and squats benefit a jiu-jitsu practitioner's performance and injury prevention?
I can't answer that. I take it back.
I can answer that.
All right.
So, wait, how it can prevent like injury?
Yes.
Okay, so when I was a lot smaller when I started jiu-jitsu, I noticed that my strength was terrible. And when you're not as strong, it's going to be so much harder to get out of positions, which will lead you getting injured. And also, it is true that if you have huge muscles, it's easier to get your arm broken. Like in an arm bar, you can't move out of it nearly as good. But a skinny arm versus a like lean good arm, you know what I mean? Not like a super bulky but not super skinny. I would choose a lean good arm either way through the day because it's going to be a lot harder to break. Not only that, but it also gives you the strength to escape out of things. Like, you wouldn't be able to if you're like pure skin and bones.
It all comes back to density. I've talked about this many times. When you lift heavy, you produce muscle density. People think that it's size. No, it's density. When you're lifting heavy weight and low numbers of reps, you're producing that density. A dense muscle is a thick muscle, and it's a powerful muscle that can retain a lot when it comes to maybe jiu-jitsu. You know, it could be just stronger to break. That's the science behind it. You know, you can take what you want from that. The next one is, in what ways can jiu-jitsu training complement bodybuilding by improving overall flexibility and functional strength?
Oh, are you saying bodybuilding improving flexibility for jiu-jitsu or jiu-jitsu improving flexibility for...
I think they're actually asking both of those, but they're saying complementing bodybuilding by improving overall flexibility and functional strength.
You can kind of take it both ways, honestly. I was going to say...
That's what I think they're trying to ask here, yeah.
So, like, I'd say, like, so my squat form, you remember how bad my squat form was? Because I was, like...
Still bad.
Like...
It was bad.
It was always bad because, well, my...
It was almost as equally as bad as Chips.
Yeah, Chips, yours was worse. I don't want to hear it. But, like... So when I first started squatting, dude, I couldn't get like I literally could not hit that because my hip flexibility was not good at all. But I tell you what, when I started taking jiu-jitsu and stuff, like due to the fact that we're always like using our legs and moving them in ways that like you wouldn't like normally move it, because you're literally using your legs as a weapon, like straight up. So it's like when we pull guard and stuff, we're literally spreading our legs out, like, and we're basically like holding you with our legs and like crossing our legs together and like pulling you in and like trying to break your body down to tear your body apart. We need leg flexibility to be able to do those things. So like simple things like we have to we stretch before practices and stuff like that. Like just having that ability to move your legs around like that, because when you first start off, dude. And you don't have that flexibility in your legs, it's going to mess you up real bad, because you not being able to move your legs certain ways is like such a disadvantage. And I was going to say, and now like if I were to go to the gym, let's say last time,
now. It was super bad.
Last time I went to the gym and I started squatting, dude, like I could go all the way down like butt to the grass, like butt to the ground straight, like, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. Like, but then I wasn't able to. Like my hip flexibility, like my hip flexors are like a lot. I'm way more flexible in my hips than I used to be, because I always thought I had bad hips. Yeah. Because I wasn't stretching it right, and I had to find new ways to stretch out, because it's not necessarily jiu-jitsu helping it. I just found better ways to stretch out. So but when it comes to like lifting, improving, stretching for like jiu-jitsu and stuff, so like. I think it kind of just makes it different in a way, because honestly, I think just weightlifting helps in the strength portion, not necessarily the flexibility. Maybe a flexibility in your arms.
I think when it comes to upper body, it helps with the flexibility, but when it comes to legs, it does not. That's the best way to put it in my opinion.
I could see that.
I noticed that when I started weightlifting a lot more, my I'm not sure if it was this or just the stretches I was doing, but my like upper body just seems a lot more flexible, just because of the movements that we're doing. Because you're gonna have to flex and like stretch out your chest in order to get a full contraction, like actually work out your chest.
Right.
Yeah, that's
something a lot of people don't understand.
So that's a good way to put it, because that's when people throw in like arm bars and stuff, like they're literally stretching your whole arm out.
Yeah, they're stretching your whole arm.
Like your arm's going farther than what it's capable of doing. And like a lot of times if you're lifting weights and stuff, like, and you got your arms moving all the way back, like you're just stretching before a workout, dude, that can help you in a way.
Oh, greatly.
Like so, being arm barred like that and you don't lift and you're not used to that position at all, you're going to be toast. But if you're used to holding a dumbbell and doing flies in that position, it does help a lot. Not saying that's the only thing that'll help you out of it, obviously. It's
just an example.
Something that'll help you a little bit. At least I've noticed.
Right. So, it would technically go hand in hand, but like I would say jiu-jitsu is good for your legs and bodybuilding is good for your upper body. Just like when it comes to flexibility.
I like that. Yeah. All right. Third question I have here is.
I bought him that, by the way.
Yes, he did. What are some common challenges individuals may face when trying to balance bodybuilding and jiu-jitsu training schedules?
Losing weight, not having the time to do both, and also not being able to not being able to diet while having both. Because when I started trying to do both, I'm not sure if you remember that, I had to legit take jiu-jitsu off every other week just because it was the only way I could actually gain weight, because I didn't know exactly how to gain weight by doing both.
Yeah.
So I legit had to just cancel one. But if you like learn your body type and you learn how to gain weight while doing cardio, I know it's bad. You know what I'm trying to say, though.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
Then it's easier, but you just have to see what your body type is.
Yeah.
Some body types may not be able to do it.
No.
That's just how life is.
Yep, I agree.
I would say time management is definitely the biggest problem for me. That's like the worst thing.
Time management's a big one for everybody. I think.
Say it honestly, like if you think that just going to the gym in general is hard, try adding in jiu-jitsu on top of that. Like it's so much worse.
Oh yeah.
It just makes. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. I'm not gonna say that. I'm just saying because I barely am able to manage it. Like that's what I'm saying. Because half the time I can't. Like I had to miss days at the gym because I'm trying to prioritize my training over it. I'm trying to get lifting in to help me out, but like, dude, time management kills. And a lot of times I get tired too. Like some days I'll get off work and I'll have a bad day at work and I'm like, you know what? I was going to lift today. I'm going to take a nap because I am out of it. And I like after a Wednesday, like a Thursday, like I'll tell you guys, oh yeah, I'm coming in to hit back and I don't come in. That's normally because I get beat up on that Wednesday and I'm so rocked and like I'm just dead. And I'm like, dude, I can't move. Like
there's many times we'll see Garrett Monday in the gym and he'll be like, yeah, I'll join you guys for back day. Come back day. I text him, Garrett, we're all at the gym, where you at?
And I don't get it. Yeah, I don't respond.
I don't hear a response for till next day.
Yeah, and it's like, I promise you, like I mean to come in every time. Like I promise you I do. It's just when you get it's just I'm not saying like I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm a victim, but I get beat up sometimes. Like I do. And like this last Wednesday, I got beat up pretty badly. Like I got this black eye and like I can't breathe out of my nose and like I got punched in the ear and like it like when he hit me in the ear, all this air went right into my ear and like blew my ear. So like I was having troubles hearing out of my left ear. Like I still have troubles hearing at it right now.
But cauliflower ear.
Oh yeah,
that thing was gross.
Dude, oh, you do.
I'd rather
put it here.
I'd rather have cauliflower ear again than have this stuff freaking go out again. That sucked because I couldn't hear anything at work the next day. I was like trying to like I was sitting there and I'd like try to do that little swimmer thing where you blow out and like it would go on this side, but this one was just straight air going out of my ear, and I'm like, that's weird. Like it does not feel good.
That's not right.
Is it better now?
Oh, it's good now.
I was about to say
that's gotta get checked out.
It's a little different still right now, but like it'll be good in the next couple of days because it's been getting better progressively, and like I can start like moving like it. You can tell there's something there now, but like I couldn't hear out of it. Like when I got hit, I got dropped. I got up, and my coach, because it was my coach that hit me, and he gets up, and all I hear is woo, and I'm like looking at him, and I'm like. because I didn't know what he said.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm good. So we went up, we just kept sparring, and we went at it. We were just going back to what we were doing. Like, yeah, it hurt, but like, you know, when you're training, dude, it was an accident. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I leaned into that punch. Like, I turned my head the wrong way, his hand went the same way, and just crap happens. You know, it just happens. But like, this black guy, I don't know how that happened. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember getting hit in the eye, but he wasn't there because he skips all the time. But
well, I do grappling on Wednesdays, though. Saturdays I just
I can't attest. I don't ever seen this. So it's okay. But like, yeah, no, I definitely, when we train, that's what I'm saying. Like my Wednesdays are my hard training days. So like some days I'll get super tired and like I just don't show up. So it's like lifting. Like I try to make it a priority, but like sometimes I just get so tired. I'm like, you know what? I'll take a day off for today.
What are some specific bodybuilding exercises that can enhance the core strength needed for various jiu-jitsu techniques?
Squatting,
benching, and deadlifts. Deadlifts are huge.
Box jumps too.
I never tried those.
I think this person too is relating to also just abdominals too. I think,
Abdominals?
and I want to bring up too right here.
Your abdominal workout.
Remember when I took you through my abdominal workout?
That was hard.
No,
it's weird because I'm always using my not saying I do have abs. Okay, I'm gonna just put it out there. I'm proud of myself for that. But I'm using that all the time for jiu-jitsu. And then when I tried your ab workout, it just killed me.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck?
So I like doing leg lifts too. Like taking, like just like simply laying on your back, just doing leg lifts. That's my favorite one. But like we do some like sometimes Chip's never actually been there for one of these, but we did like ab toning where you just hit each other and like right in the abdominal.
I do that after a long.
It's definitely not great for your abs. Like I don't recommend doing that if you're not trying to be a fighter, but we just do it to like help strengthen our stomachs to like prevent us from like getting hit in the gut and going.
I actually have Eli and Ethan do that to me after every workout, so it's like hard to find my since I'm not really kickboxing with them as much.
Can I just deck you in the stomach as hard as I can?
I will definitely feel it because you're not gonna put a glove on.
Yeah, no,
I'm not no animal fisticuffs boxer.
Well, the thing
I'll knock you
is,
through a wall.
we're not throwing like full blown like haymakers at each other's stomach, dude.
I would throw.
No.
I picture just decking Chip after work.
Or we'll take like, or we'll lay down and we'll pick up like those like medicine balls, like the 20-pound medicine balls, and just like throw it down our stomachs and like we'll breathe out and like tense up our stomachs so it strengthens it. So they have like a weird like hardcore type of training system, dude. It's crazy. Like anybody that comes up there, like we've had, I can't tell you how many people have showed up to our gym like on Wednesdays, came up, trained, and then they never show up. Like I think my coach has like a stack of papers this tall full of people that have come in, signed up, trained with us, and then never came back.
It's so sad because those people have potential, like a lot of potential. Like there's some natural athletes that'll come in there and just like the other day, this kid I was grappling with him, blast doubled me, just body slammed me. There's a video of it. I don't know if I want to send that to you.
That'd be awesome. I'd love to see it.
Okay,
Put it up here.
I'll send it to you. But he had extreme potential. He was a wrestler and he was like getting moves down really quick. But then he just hasn't showed up since.
I need to see this video.
Chip getting destroyed by a new guy.
I won the match, but I had a terrible start.
Yeah, I bet.
Very bad start.
Okay, I've covered that already. How does bodybuilding's focus on muscular hypertrophy differ from the functional strength required in... No, wait, we led to that already. Can combining bodybuilding and jiu-jitsu lead to muscle imbalances, and how can individuals prevent or address them?
I don't see how... What do you mean muscle imbalances?
I think this person's relating to maybe favoring one side more than the other.
Like having chicken legs and a big body?
Not necessarily. Maybe being the fact that, like, think about when you go to throw a punch. Like, if you'd walk up to somebody on the street and you'd have to punch somebody, you're naturally going to use the hand you're dominant in, just by naturally.
Yeah.
The same thing. I think that's what this person is referring to. Basically, when you're in a fight, grappling or whatever not, you're going to be gravitating to one side or not more than the other. Is that going to affect bodybuilding at all? Because when you go to lift, are you going to notice the difference? I think that's what they're trying to ask here.
Most times, if you have a good coach, they will make sure you're working on both sides equally.
Yeah. The coaches normally try to get you moving on both.
That's if they're a good coach,
same thing with my kickboxing coach. Like if I'm fighting somebody, he always has me switch in stance while we're sparring. Always. Like he'll switch and then I switch with him and we're always working both sides because if you're good on one side and you're not good on the other one, dude, like they'll tear you up on that other side and they'll always target you on that. Especially if they're good on that side, dude, it's always a downside. But like if you're constantly working on each side, which is it'd be the same thing as like lifting with one hand and the other.
Yeah, right.
You gotta hit both.
Unilateral training, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I guess I should have said that instead of going on a rant, but it's all good. It's all good.
Looks like just one more. For those interested in pursuing both disciplines simultaneously, what are some practical training tips to optimize progress and avoid burnout? That's an interesting one because like both of your schedules, I'd be so damn tired. Like I listen to you guys talking, I'm like, dude, I would not like.
Yeah. So
what do you think? I mean, is there first of all, is there a way to prevent burnout? Because you're taking.
You will always get burnout. I'm gonna just say it right now. You will always get burnout.
That's why you have to have a love for the sport and a drive. That's the biggest part. Is you have. If you want to do it, then you got to do it. That's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with weightlifting. Like you're going to get burnt out after about 3 months at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like I always would, and I'd still force myself to go.
I love to train. Even if I'm tired, I'll be like, let's go train.
That's what I'm saying. Like you have days where you're tired and you're like, man, I don't know if I should go today. You know what I'm saying? Like that always happens. Like I've always had those days. Yeah. So it's like, I'll still have those days now where I'm like, I really don't want to train today. And then I'm like, but if I don't, there's going to be somebody in there that's just going to catch up to me. And I can't let that happen. So I got to go in and beat them up again. So like,
yeah,
not that I beat up anybody. I really don't. I'm not that great. It's just I try to put myself in that mentality. Like there's always going to be somebody that's going to try to get better than what I am. And I want to make sure that I'm not letting that happen. I want to keep myself ahead of where everyone else is at. And I want to try to get above where people are at.
It's a competition and, motivation right there.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just have to you have to put yourself in that mindset. You can't just sit there and be like, you know what? I'm going to go today. I'm going to take some rest days, and then I'm going to go. And you know what? I don't feel like going today, so I'm just not going to go because I'm
going to replay that part for every time Garrett now tells me I'm too tired to come to the gym.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
or I'm going to call you a narcissist.
I am. Like straight up. Like when it comes to lifting, dude, like I do need to start showing up.
I'm sure some of our gym partners are listening to this, and they're like, we're gonna record this.
Like,
The thing is, though, is like I don't miss training days. I miss lifting days a lot just because I stopped prioritizing it. That's that is the main thing too. Is like I definitely stopped prioritizing lifting after a while because I was so focused on I was so focused at one point of trying to just getting the technique down, and I didn't want to I don't know. I was just getting burnt out because I was training so hard on like one part. Like like I said before, I was getting beat up all the time in kickboxing. Same thing like that. Like you wake up the next day and like I'm like all drowsy that whole day just because.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm definitely gonna take like your advice on like what to do in between those, but like that's pretty much
the same question for you, Chip. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
It's definitely you're gonna get burnt out. You're gonna get burnt out at least once every week, in my opinion. But you will start to get. I get burnt out a lot, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. It could be that I roll with people a lot heavier than me all the time, though.
He's like the smallest person there, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not mad because I'm not the worst. I mean, it feels so good having out people like 3 times my size, but you get like addicted to it almost.
Yeah.
Like you just start to like enjoy it more. Like I love like waking up and just going straight to the gym now. Well, I also just sleep in till like 10 and 11 though. So you guys don't get to do that.
Yeah.
My thing is also it's like I said before, if you were to ask anybody that I graduated with, they would never have told you that I was in a combat sport because they'd never think about it. Like because I was so passive in high school, but like now like there's some guys that came into our gym like a few days ago. I graduated, a few of them went to high school with them, and like instantly they didn't even realize it was me because I looked different than what I did in high school. In high school, dude, I was a skinny twig,
and then you got fat.
And then I got fat, you know.
You got fat, then you turned just.
Yeah, you see, I got a little muscular like since like high school. I'm definitely a lot bigger than what I was. Like I'm not jacked, you know what I'm saying, but like
right, yeah.
But I definitely gained muscle, and like they'll look at me and they're like, "What happened to you?" And I'm like, "I just trained, like straight up. I changed my life around." You know what I'm saying? And then like. They came in and they tried taking my head off right off the bat because they wanted to they just wanted to prove a point, and like due to the fact that I know so much like when it comes to jiu-jitsu and stuff, that's like like, you know, like wrestlers and stuff, dude. Anytime they come into a gym like that, they always try and take your head off.
Mhm.
But they burn themselves out on the first day because they'll try to kill everybody in the room. You can't walk in there trying to take everyone's head off, because the second you get humbled and you feel like you put yourself in that mindset, oh, I'm going to kill everybody when I walk in here, you're just going to burn yourself out in the first day because you're getting mad that you're losing to all these people that look like you look. There's some dudes in jiu-jitsu, dude. They look like straight up nerds. I'll straight up say it. You get some nerds in there, like they look like the kid that would sit there in a calculator math class, like know every question and never hit the gym a single time.
I would have never guessed that, but that's interesting.
It's crazy, dude.
Today during the tournament, I got suffocated by a dude that was like a lot skinnier than me, and he looked like a nerd. But he was like dominating me, though. I was like, oh my god.
That's my favorite part about like
jiu-jitsu is a skill sport. It really is. It's all about skill.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite part about it. Is like when I was telling you about like one of our coaches, like he's one of our black belts, dude. He weighs 135 or 145 pounds.
He's not a muscular dude either.
He's your size.
You would like, not even kidding you, Shawn. You'd look at him and you'd be like, oh, he's never stepped foot in a gym. But he could beat up like
yeah.
He could
I believe
beat
it.
up so many people.
It completely.
You look at him and you're like,
that dude's skinny, but he's a UFC fighter.
Oh,
you look at him and you're like, what the heck is this guy doing? And then like he just tears people up and you're like, oh, that's where he's at. I understand. And we got one of our guys that like goes to our kickboxing place, and like I tell you what, when my cousins start coming up and like training with us and like kickboxing, he looks at one of our guys and he's like, yeah, he's a straight up nerd. Like he goes, I think I could take him. And then he got popped in the face and like a bunch of times, and like got beat up. And my cousin's like an athlete, and he looks at me and he goes, I thought I was gonna get beat up I thought I was gonna beat up half the people in here, but I just got beat up by 15-year-olds. And I was like, oh no.
So to end up this podcast, I'm gonna ask you, Garrett, what's a takeaway you have for the listeners that the listeners can benefit from when it comes to mixing, bodybuilding and jiu-jitsu? What do you have to say about that? Just a general takeaway.
Like just mixing it?
Yeah.
So honestly, I would find out what you're specifically wanting to train on. Like I would say, like if you're trying to focus on MMA, like that's kind of like my focus right now. Like I work on stand up or jiu-jitsu, you know what I'm saying? So like if you're wanting to train like jiu-jitsu on a certain day but kickboxing on another, find out what lifts would work best with that and not hurt you with like whatever you're lifting. Like if I'm doing legs, obviously I'm not going to do kickboxing straight after a leg day because my legs are going to be super sore, and you're going to want to use your legs for kickboxing and not get kicked in the leg and destroy your muscles while you're trying to do that. The days after, you're trying to let your muscles recover, you know what I'm saying? Like getting kicked right after a leg day it's not fun.
No.
So like I would find out what days like you're doing certain certain styles and then try to match it like with what you're working on. Like jiu-jitsu, I like to do my upper body lifting and stuff on those days just because it works well. Or I'll do a leg day like right before I go to my rest day. I'll probably hit leg day right before that.
That'd be a good time. That'd be good.
Yeah, like on a Saturday, because I take Sunday off, do legs on Saturday. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And that way you're not affecting your performance on the mat too. With your leg day, you have time to recover.
Yeah. So and your muscles will get tired, in jiu-jitsu. Like obviously, if you're lifting and then you go straight to jiu-jitsu, your muscles are gonna be a little tired. But honestly, if you keep at it, like your muscles won't be as tired over time. Like they'll start to get used to like the intensity of what you're doing.
Yep.
And it'll build up.
Adaptation. Yep.
Yeah, it'll adapt. That's a good word.
And hydrating properly,
Yeah, definitely keeping your hydration up too. Yep. That's perfect.
You'll feel the best like rolling when you're hydrated. Yep. You'll feel like 2 times better.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I noticed a huge difference when I did that. So.
Okay, Chip, the same question for you. What can you give the listeners as a takeaway here?
Find out your body type, like how much food it takes for you to like gain weight and gain muscle, not like an unhealthy amount of weight, but like find out like how you can bulk, but then try to like measure that while you're doing like jiu-jitsu. Like for example, for jiu-jitsu, you might have to add like 1,000 more calories, like he said, and probably do a lot more power movements. And I would shorten your training time probably a little bit in the weight room.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why those are pretty shorter workouts than I designed here. These are about an hour and a half to an hour and 15 minutes.
I'm not sure if you knew this. I'm pretty sure Bruce Lee did a like workout almost like that because he knows that he was like losing strength while doing martial arts, so he started doing like weightlifting routine. I was reading on that earlier. I was like, oh, that's actually kind of interesting.
He did a lot of bodyweight stuff focused. It wasn't too much.
Like he would stab like plates to him while he's running.
Yes, that kind of stuff. It wasn't really bodybuilding.
But definitely find out like how much water you need to intake before rolling. Definitely make sure that your urine is like lemonade color because you do not want low sodium or you will feel like crap.
Yeah.
Definitely don't get addicted to caffeine too. That's the problem I had. Like taking pre-workout, you will feel like crap midway through rolling. Like, for example, I used to take a scoop of pre-workout before every rolling.
Oh gosh.
And
I told him not to do that. I would yell at him every single time.
And before I would go to the gym, and oh my gosh, rolling was such a pain. It was terrible.
Yeah, I don't recommend taking pre-workout before you go train MMA.
That's an interesting thing to add in right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would, if you're gonna take it, take like quarter of a scoop just to wake you up a little bit.
I say do it before weightlifting, but not before anything like MMA wise. Because my coach told me this because he yelled at me because I was trying to. I asked him about taking pre-workout, and he goes, "Well, first of all, they're not gonna let you take pre-workout before your MMA fight." He goes, "Before a fight, they want you to be like straight up, like clean and everything."
Well, they won't know if you put in your water.
No, they wouldn't care. But I'm saying
they're
like
not gonna know either.
He goes, "Well, you're not gonna have." He goes, "I'm not gonna let you have it because I want you to train at your best when you're not at your best." He's like, "I want you to train hard when you're not feeling it because I don't want you to be reliant like on a certain supplement." He goes, "I want you to feel at your worst while we're training." And then build from that. So he pushes me past my limits. I promise you that he does. Like there's times where like I literally feel like I'm dropped, like I'm on my knees, like sitting there, like almost about to throw up all over the canvas, like not able to stand up.
That's
you
good
said
though.
Supplement. I definitely like recommend taking creatine.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I definitely recommend that. I've seen like when I'm not taking creatine while like trying to like do a powerlifting, you said, right? Powerlifting while training jujitsu, oh my gosh, my numbers went up so much more.
Oh, yeah.
And no, it is not a steroid, okay?
That's also a steroid.
No, just stupid people online, all right?
There's a lot of people that it went through a phase.
Unnatural.
It went through a phase back when I was in high school, and also a little bit in the 2013 to 15 era where people were considering creatine more of a steroid than an actual natural supplement for a while.
Steroids and
not so much anymore, which is good. I'm glad that's done. That was annoying as shit because I love creatine. I've talked about creatine numerous times.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That was the number one supplement in my opinion. I've seen a lot more.
Yep.
Like,
I'd like to add one thing too with your like keeping a routine. Keep your faith in there too. I would like to hit on that hard because dude, like I don't know, me personally, I like to keep God in everything I do.
Amen to that.
So it's like I say, like kickboxing, dude, after we're sitting there beating the crap out of each other on Wednesdays, dude, we have a nice Bible study afterward. Like
that's awesome.
It's awesome. We beat the crap out of each other. Like we build each other up in the ring and we build each other up spiritually, like right after that. Like I promise you, if you keep on that and like keep God in your life and like keep putting him first before everything, like your life will change straight up. It also helps with my drive too. Like
I was about to say,
like it keeps you like motivated the whole time.
Keeps you humble too.
Yeah, and that's the biggest part of like keeping me humble too. Is I always know, like I think about it all the time. I'm like, like one of my buddies told me this. I was grappling with him, and it was my buddy like that I told you, he just got his brown belt in jiu-jitsu today. He was tearing me apart, just beating like the crap out of me, you know. And we get done like sparring, and I'm like, dude, I really don't feel like I'm getting better. And he walks up and he goes, you know, God paved the way. He told you he'd be there, but he never told you it'd be easy. And I sat there and I thought about it, and I was like,
yeah,
all right, that's cool. I was like, all right, I'll keep that in mind. He's like,
you don't become a warrior with an easy life.
My coach always tells me, he says, easy days create weak men.
Yep.
That's a good saying. I love that saying because
I love it.
Any easy day that you guys have taken off is just killing yourself. Honestly, you're killing your body. Unless it's a rest day. You take a rest day. That's a good one. But like any day that you could be working that's not a rest day and that weekday and you're just using it to do whatever you feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not helping you build your character. You're just destroying yourself.
Yeah.
So just keep moving, honestly. Keep yourself going. Keep yourself doing at least something that's going to build your character.
Yeah, I agree completely. All right, guys. I think that's good. I think we wrapped up a lot of topics there.
That was a
That was a long podcast,
episode.
man.
I mean, it was, but we covered a lot of stuff, and I knew it was going to be a long episode because there's a lot to go into that balance to get those two balanced properly.
It is two people. We get like two opinions.
Exactly, two opinions and everything. So I was expecting to be a long one. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. We will see you guys next week. Right back here. Till next time, guys. Stay strong and God bless.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, awesome.
Good episode. Very good
Oh
episode.
my gosh.
Oh.
Yeah, that was fun. Hopefully, like.